and welcome back to Roll Call.
Roll call.
Sing for me.
Was this Phantom of the
Yeah,
Opera?
that's Phantom of the Opera.
I'm just a dragon.
That would dramatically change the story.
Sing for me, my dragon.
That could. But welcome everyone back to our Slivers of Fate campaign. Super excited to be back, picking up where we left off. But before we continue our story, I'll pass it along to the gargantuan green giant over there. I can't.
That was a fat joke, and I don't appreciate it.
I was saying that you were.
Tragic backstory, fatphobic confirmed.
Don't. I was.
Hashtag cancel.
You're a green dragon. I was doing the. You're.
I didn't want to have to say anything, but I can't hold my silence anymore.
God damn it!
Please click link to see full story.
Where's my ukulele? let me sing a song about this where I never say the word sorry, and I try and blame you for it.
He's just like the government.
Oh no.
Oh, I mean, yeah, it's
I'm gonna start hitting buttons while
short.
you wanna talk at all?
Last week,
My perfectly proportioned friend.
Oh, so now you're thin phobic.
God damn it!
There you go, Brandon. She knew where to find it.
I'm just saying. It was taken out of context. I did my best. I'm just a loser.
Not a group.
I'm not a groomer.
It's literally what she says in the video. I'm not a groomer. I'm just a loser.
Relevant humor to the time. If anyone watches this 3 months from now, I'm going to seem like a fucking weirdo.
Well, I mean, we're going to all look like weirdos in 3 months anyway.
Anyway.
Last week we played D&D. That video went up on YouTube today.
Today?
So we're playing more D&D. It did. I had that weekend off, and I just relaxed, and I forgot to do my job.
It's okay. We'll just put it in your yearly review.
That's fine. Wait, wouldn't I give my own review?
Yeah, taking your own review.
It's okay. You've had a rough year.
You had a rough one, bud.
That brings us again to today, where we're playing more D&D. This video will go up on YouTube on Monday, hopefully.
Hopefully.
And the process begins again, but if you want more of us, you can come back on Sunday. At 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Is it time?
It is time for the turn of the darkness. The shadows fall across the land of the Washington, D.C. area as D.C. by Night presents Monument of Shadows. Hosted by your storyteller, Cymerk. And if you like Cymerk more, Cymerk, where else can they find you this weekend?
You can check me out tomorrow night over on the RPG table at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Twitch, where I play a dumb fuck.
Beautiful.
It's great. It's great.
And no questions whatsoever.
Nope.
Why question when brain no work good?
Oh, I do play he's a fine dumb fuck.
So fine.
So dumb.
But so fine.
But so fine.
Okay. Anything else from the peanut gallery?
Shell.
Shell. Okay, with that being said then, we go back into the world of Laplear and our Slivers of Fate campaign. Splash. One day. When we last left off, the group was dealing with the ramifications of an attack by a local bandit group that they helped bring to justice. One a little bit more, to justice than the others, as Typhoon, under the curse of his blade, stabbed through the heart of a man, killing him. The others were subdued by the group. Gideon carrying through the word of law for the sliver, all murder being illegal. I don't know. Oh, goodness. No one could hear anyone on Discord. It changed at one moment, everyone.
That's fine. Nah.
They could hear us. They can't hear you
The
guys.
magic is gone. So you just drop sponsors that don't exist, or that aren't sponsoring us because no one can hear you.
No, please no.
We didn't even try them.
We did. They're terrible.
Was it HelloFresh? I thought it was
Yes.
Dinnerly.
My
Oh,
Raid Shadow Legend. See, no one can hear that, and it's really messing with me.
Oh. I'm so sorry.
Fun fact, one of our players' companies...
Ours provides the furniture for us.
Good. Is it no? Why is it not picking you guys
Yeah, it's
up?
still not picking them up.
One moment is without fail. There's always difficulties.
It's not a stream if there isn't technical difficulties.
Keep talking, guys. Okay.
So
Well-
much barbecue sauce, so many titties.
If that's not going to work, I'm going to have to just do another thing.
Desktop audio.
Yep. I don't like doing that, but it'll work.
Rose always pulled into the drive like
Now
that.
people can hear you.
It was nothing. Oh, hey, huh?
titty
What?
croissants. Oh, wait.
What?
Yeah, everyone heard that one.
Perfect.
Hey, didn't hear me.
So
GG,
much
guys.
titty croissants.
I mean, we are the pastry.
Did you
gang,
clip his
so-
apology?
I sure as fuck did.
Hilarious. Hilarious. Can't wait for that to be used against me.
Always.
Anyway, where we last left off. After
The look on his face.
The laugh that just threw me off.
So John's gonna die in this campaign.
sewing together the threads that bind you all after Typhoon's murderous incident, you all spent time talking with one another while he was being interviewed and having dealing with being in jail after murdering somebody, and you all brought to Lieutenant Shannon and Deputy Investigator Vernon the concept of the cursed weapon, and through that they did some investigation and found your claim to be valid. Upon some further investigation to ensure that Typhoon was actually cursed by this thing, nearly killing Lieutenant Shannon, you all waited patiently outside of the room while Typhoon went through a few different memory dreamscapes from being magically put to sleep 2 times in a row.
I'm now well rested, though.
Everyone, after the curse was broken, had time to reflect and talk a bit. You all watched as the storm rolled in over the passing hours as night and morning came. You individually had your nightly ritual. Dragonheart began to tap into the ethereal power of electricity.
Mm-hmm. Shocking, I know.
Ba-dum-bum. Channeling through the draconic spirit that still resides within the bone, assisting in Dragonheart's connection with electricity. We start our session with where we left off. You guys had all come down again, ready to have breakfast and get things ready, and it was Typhoon and Teresa getting ready to have a conversation. So that is where we will pick up now that the audience can actually hear you.
Yeah, you wanna walk and talk, or you wanna sit down?
I think it's still raining outside.
It
Let's
is
probably
currently
find-
downpouring.
Yeah,
Oh.
let's find probably somewhere, just a quiet area
Yeah.
inside.
All right. Yeah. So we're gonna find a place, just secluded.
And so you guys, there is
not
your...
too far away from the party.
Okay,
rest
so you
of
want
the
to
party.
party in eyesight. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's a few, I mean, like I said, with this double wide Applebee's-sized area, there are plenty of different, like, booths that have walls up on both sides that are in the corner or farther away where you can still see. The rest of the group is seated at a semi-large circular table as food is being prepared and brought out.
Yeah.
There's not
Um,
there's not as many people here as there have been. The rain and storm kind of, people are staying inside. As it has picked up, it is almost at the peak of the storm at the moment. So the windows are kind of like shuttering a little bit.
Mm.
Yeah. We'll just take one of those booths and. Hey. How are you feeling? I mean, this can't be easy on you. This whole ordeal.
I mean, all honesty, like I guess I don't remember much, but it's not fun having your body taken over. Like, I guess you would understand, but it's just yeah, like I can grasp the like where you're coming from. Like that's not a good feeling, not knowing like these blackout moments and presumably killing someone. Like not to get too deep in my past, but like we've killed people before. It is what it is. But like to doing it without knowing, or you're doing it or without your own control is kind of a different feeling, different meaning.
Losing that autonomy.
Yeah.
Losing that sense of self.
Yeah, so it's kind of
Who
off-putting.
you are. Yeah, it really is, and I'm really glad that we were able to get that part of me out there, out of myself.
Why it throws you off so much. Like I could only imagine before, but now I feel it. It's not a good feeling at all.
It's really not, but I'm glad that you were able to. I'm glad we were able to get that out of you.
Yeah, me too. I mean, how are you feeling after, like, I guess, they did everything on you?
I feel better, calmer, a bit more in control. Though with that came with a lot of shit. Because apparently when they went inside of me,
Phrasing.
yeah, when they traveled into my mind palace, better.
Excuse me.
I somehow connected with my former compatriots, and I found out they're not dead. They're
So your team is
somewhere.
possibly still alive?
Maybe I don't know. It felt weird. They were talking to me, and they were spirits and stuff. So maybe I should talk to Daria or John about this. But they were like here, and like I could talk to them, but they were also like, they said that they were somewhere in the capital,
I mean,
in Gemstead.
that's still like really good news. Like in a sense, that means that like your family from your past is still like alive.
Yeah, I
a
don't,
connection.
I don't really know how to. I mean, I should be happy. I am happy about it,
Mm.
but it's also the sense of like, I cried for you. I
Yeah.
put flowers on your unmarked graves, you know.
And, yeah, you grew and moved on. I understand. That's kind of how I felt when I found out my sister was alive. You know, like I wasn't expecting. I just wasn't expecting that. So I get where you're coming from. I really do. It's not easy to accept that, but it's also a happy feeling. You know that like I love that you're alive. I love that a part of my past is still here, but the pain of the past, also not knowing or thinking that they're gone, also still hurts.
Yeah, well, it's a wild storm of emotions right now.
Yeah.
Speaking of, do you remember anything of when you were on that table?
What's on the table? I mean, whenever I guess I seem to like lash out at that moment, I black out completely. But I just remember dreams of like me being back on my ship with my captain and crew and just having good times. Although one of them were not so good times, and the blade was in my hand. I had stabbed through my captain, who's like a father to me. But I'm hoping that I can only assume that that was just a blade trying to take over my brain or something. I don't know.
I'm not trying to make you feel bad or anything, but while you were on that table, it was really hard to watch. You were thrashing and screaming obscenities at us, and you know we've been through a lot together, and just hearing you, I know it wasn't you, but it was you, but it wasn't you. I just hearing that like really hurt, you know?
I think at this point too, Ty would probably like start fidgeting with his coin in like in a nervous sense, and then he would ask next of like, "Does that make you afraid of me?"
No, I trust you. Like I trust you right now. I trust that person.
I would never go out of my way to deliberately hurt anyone of this party, no matter what happens. I mean, obviously, if
Neither
one of
would
you were
I.
to be taken over, I would subdue as best possible, but not intentionally maim or murder.
And that's kind of what we tried to do in this situation.
I appreciate every single one of you.
Of course. I appreciate you too. You said that you saw things while you were under your captain and crew.
Yeah, I mean, I don't talk about it much just because I'm afraid of how some people would judge. I'm also kind of, John's a law person. I feel like they might look at me a different light than kind of a
Well, right
bumbling
now
person.
you're kind of talking to a murder machine.
Hey, I mean, aren't we both at this point?
We've all look. We've
We
all
have our
done shit.
past. Yeah.
We've
But
all
yeah.
done shit, and that's in the past. But
Yeah. But damn it! I just lost my train of thought.
I want to know you. I want you to be able to, open up and tell us shit about things, your thoughts, your feelings.
Yeah,
It'll-
that's something I'm working on.
It'll help me protect you and, help protect everyone.
Yeah. And I do appreciate that. And I want to do the same, honestly. Yeah, I mean, what do you want to know about me? I mean, my past, there's a lot that's happened in my past, but not all of it was bad. There are a lot of good times, too.
Well, you said you fell into the sea and woke up with no memories, and then you joined your crew, right?
Yeah, so for a short time I lost my memories. I did slowly get them back over time, but um the people who saved me out of the water, they pulled me out of the water was my captain and the pirate crew that I sailed with for many years. And they could have done, it's a young boy, water genasi. They could have done whatever they wanted, but they took me in, looked after me, and honestly, like they taught me and made me into a man that I am today, and I will forever always appreciate it, all of them for that. And like, I hope again that I see them one day, because I know they're still out there probably causing some chaos, but they'll be retired. We're still good people.
Did you have any particular fond memory, like a raid or something that you did while you were with them?
I have many fond memories, but I think, like losing your family kind of leaves a hole, And I think one of the fond memories was when I finally made a connection with the people on the ship, and even more so my captain, who is really like a father figure to me, and like he really took me in and raised me. He taught me how to fight. He taught me, how to raid ships and whatnot. He taught me, pirate morals, I'll say, because sometimes they're a little skewed compared to other morals, but he taught me his ideas of right and wrong and how to be a man by his eyes. And I will always treasure those memories. And even some of the other party members on our boat, I got along more with some than others, but a bunch of men on the seas for like months at a time, things will happen. But overall, it were good times. They really were. We had moments where we've lost close ones in battle or different reasonings to sickness, but I loved every single one of those moments of hanging out and just being a part of sort of something bigger and big family,
Yeah, I get what you mean. I, as you know, I wasn't born. I was created, but
Yeah.
I found solace within my squad. I had somewhat father figure in Decker. He was always a hard ass, but
Aren't they
he had a
all?
good head on his shoulders.
Yeah. Is he one of the ones that you saw?
Yeah, I did see him.
That's awesome.
I want to see him again.
You will. I'm
hope
sure
I
you
see him
will.
again.
I mean, we're all here to help each other, and we're all looking out for each other. I'm sure things will work out the way they should.
Yeah, and you'll
All
get
in
to
time.
see your sister again.
Yeah, I really do. So
I want that for you.
thank you. I always appreciate Teresa. You always are the positivity. After everything you've been through, you're still always so positive and have a good outlook, and I appreciate that.
Oh, there's no point in dwelling on the past.
That's true.
I want to be that for people. Dragonheart's really been helping me with meditation and letting all of that negativity go. So he's been a really big help in
He really is
shaping
like the
that.
big brother, isn't he? But
he's
a good
really
guy.
fucking strong.
He's crazy strong. And I remember he
like-
wanted to punch me when I was tied up. I do remember that.
Like most of the time, sometimes he gets a little heated, but most of the time he's really like. He's one of those people you can really rely on. He's got a good head on his shoulders.
He has a problem with authority, but I don't necessarily disagree in everything he says. But
Authority can be a bad thing, as seen with what
People
been
give
through.
into power sometimes, yes. You know, there is a question I've been wanting to ask, but I don't want this to sound, I don't know, I guess offensive or abrasive or anything. But how is Teresa inside you? How is she? How's she feeling about everything?
So, my connection with Teresa inside of me isn't kind of like John, where, you can, or, you can, call upon them.
Mm-hmm.
It's really touch and go. So I haven't been connected with her like throughout, but I
Gotcha.
think for the most part she's been okay. She's been sleeping ever since our time with in Felodin, because
Hmm.
she actually helped get get us out of that weird place. And for a child, I mean, she is still a child, so that strain must have taken quite a toll on her.
Yeah, I imagine. Is there anything that we as a party or who can do anything for either one of you guys?
I think just as of right now, not get into many, stressful situations. Can help,
Fair enough.
riling up that side. Probably isn't the most helpful, but
Gotcha. And like you've been working with Dragonheart with the meditating and stuff like that. Has that been helping a lot?
oh yeah, that really has been, especially
Maybe I'll sit
think-
in on one.
yeah, I think even more so after well, I haven't had a meditation session with Dragonheart since removing my murder button, but
But you feel a little bit more at peace.
I do.
That's good. Seems like things are slowly falling into place. Hopefully that everything will work out.
Yeah. Thanks for having this chat with me.
No, thanks for looking out for me. I do appreciate it.
Of course.
We'll take this and we will, while this conversation is happening, the other Claw is a little slow, a little like droopy and mopey right now. Just kind of taking that there's that air of when, an animal doesn't want to be messed with right now. Giving off that vibe. But the rest of the other three of you.
Is it still morning?
Yes, it is morning. They would say the storm is picking up. Gideon, you guys aren't sitting at the bar, but Gideon's behind the bar, tending to some things. Every so often you see one of the workers there who cooks. They're not a chef, but their whole thing is when they're not at school, they're cooking. Comes out and starts placing orders on the bar for him to hand out.
So how are we all feeling after our little prison visit?
A lot happens to this party. First Teresa, now Typhoon. Stressful, but at least we were able to solve both problems.
It would seem they've been solved for now. I am relieved we were able to get that weapon to the authorities.
I definitely think we need to keep an eye on both of them because it's obviously been very traumatic for them, and they need to work through that and hopefully be able to get past it and learn from it.
They're still in eyesight of us, right?
Oh yeah, you guys can still see each other. You just are nowhere able to hear
it.
each other's private conversations.
John will just kind of glance over at them, just check in on them, just with a look. Just kind of well, I mean, like I said, they seem fine. I think Typhoon will be okay, provided he doesn't pick up any more cursed weaponry. I still have a few concerns about Teresa, but
Concerns.
well, there's always the potential for something to have gone wrong.
True.
So I'd rather be conscientious of that fact and assume that maybe things didn't go exactly to plan than assume everything's fine.
That's valid.
Dragonheart, what do you think?
I think getting off the sliver is a good idea.
I don't disagree with you.
At bare minimum, just because, punching relieves a lot of stress. And right now, there's not a whole lot of that happening.
You know, I will say I'm quite proud of the restraint that you've shown.
Thanks, I'm working real hard.
I know it's been rough for you.
A lot of meditation.
Nariana Claw, there is something I wanted to discuss, and I do plan on eventually talking to Teresa and Typhoon about this, but I may have a connection of sorts to somebody from Teresa's past. And I've been struggling with the concept of bringing it up to her because of the fact that she's been a little outside of her own control. Now that that's passed, I think this might be a better time to bring it up. But I wanted to make the group aware in advance just for safety purposes.
Who in her past?
John will kind of just lower his voice and just kind of go, her real father.
You mean the one who created her?
He'll nod.
Nariana just looks kind of shocked and
Now, having said that, I can thoroughly tell you that none of you are allowed to tell anybody else. Because if it does, for lack of a better term, my brain will get turned to soup.
that's
Bernhardt's
not
been looking off
concerning
the
at all.
side. I know nothing.
I hope you understand how much trust I'm putting in you all with this information.
I understand. It does not leave us. And we'll be there to support you if or when you decide to tell Teresa, because I would advise waiting. Let her get through the trauma of the switch that we just did, because it sounded like a lot more happened than what we realized.
Of course. I was thinking maybe after our visit in Brahm.
I honestly don't know how she'll handle that information, because for all intensive purposes, the Skye abandoned her when she didn't do what she was supposed to, and that itself is trauma.
Well,
hear me out. And this is going to sound like a crazy idea. Ask her if she can handle information. What we are doing now is we're taking away that autonomy. We're talking about what we should do for her. Why don't we ask her if she feels like she's up for some more information? It doesn't have to be right now. Like you said, you could wait till after Brahm. And just ask her if you think she's well enough to hear some heavy information. She can choose to accept it or not, but that could be her choice, not our choice of when she hears it.
That is a fair way of doing it.
that is a great idea.
I got a few every so often.
It was a good one.
You don't give yourself enough credit, Dragonheart.
I know what I'm good for.
Punching things.
Punching things and kicking things and showing off.
That's why we love you.
In the meantime, we do need to make sure that we continue to try very hard not to attract more attention to ourselves. But, Dragonheart, I do tend to agree with you. I think after we visit Peach's father, I think that we need to leave. Unless something else comes up.
Speaking of Peach's father, what all do you know about him? Is he trustworthy? Is he worth even talking to?
Well, from what I know of him, he's not a huge fan of me. Which,
This should be interesting.
for
I mean, you dated his daughter and then you didn't.
Did you dump her or did she dump you?
no. The split was mutual. We were better off friends, you know. Or at least I thought it was mutual, but apparently she's carried a little bit more, all this time. But anyway, her father doesn't like me, which tells me that he will probably be a good person to talk to for our purposes. Considering, you know, he's very anti certain things, and I am obviously, well, keeper of the law, so. Yeah, I think.
Oh, should we be guarded around him then?
Well, I would say I don't necessarily know if we need to be guarded. I think obviously we shouldn't espouse our deepest secrets, but I think that it may be worth opening a little to. You know, actually, Dragonheart, he would probably like you quite a bit. You're
Me
kind
or
of.
the Knoll?
What could I
Roll-
assume?
Roll me.
What could I assume?
You can roll me a history or an insight, whichever one you'd like to draw upon more.
Are you finally getting your question answered?
You know what? I have better history, but I think I want to roll insight for this.
Okay.
23.
With a 23 insight, you know that Wellerman Strong Hollow, the man that he is and the man he's become, and definitely the man that you got to know years ago when you dated, with his general lack of big infrastructure and government as it currently stands, and his more, rough and tumble nature, he would appreciate Dragonheart's protectiveness, because he is very protective of Peach and of Braum, but he would probably prefer the Knolls more like, let's burn this bitch to the ground if needed. So he would appreciate both sides of Dragonheart's current persona file.
Got it.
But it just depends on the situation.
Joan will kind of look at Dragonheart for a moment, and then just sort of go, you really can't go wrong, but, considering what we're going to go talk to him about, if we wanted to maybe draw some of it out of him, the Knoll might be of use.
Okay. Turn it up to 11. Got it.
I'm going to regret that, but...
Well, because there's a saying, with wrestling, characters, the characters are them dialed up to 11. So, if Dragonheart himself is a 10, then the Knoll has to be the 11 of, anarchy rule, survival of the fittest.
This is what it means to go beyond.
And rip and tear.
Plus Ultra. Now, as far as I know, yes, he's not very fond of me, but he should still see us. I don't think I've given him any reason not to.
He might accept us if we bring him a gift or something, maybe a baked good or a bottle of wine. Tarts, maybe.
Hello, sir. We are the Order of the Tarts. We bring you tarts in order.
I know with my family, we always brought a gift when visiting someone, especially unannounced. It takes the thing away and brings back a little hospitality.
Well, that's not a totally terrible idea, but maybe we should stay away from baked goods and maybe do something a bit more rustic, like
Booze,
or maybe a nice steak.
No muscles have had good steak. Protein. It's good for the muscles.
Right.
It's not always lean, but sometimes you just need that protein punch. That's a good name, Protein Punch. I should make that a thing. I'll have to send Dad a letter. Dragonheart Protein Punch. Good for For fighters.
Is that you
and-
punching a steak in someone's face?
No, like it's a protein powder drink.
When was the last time you heard from your father?
Well, it's been a little bit. We've been a little busy. Haven't stopped at a post office. We've been lying low, and it's a little hard walking into a post office in a bright yellow mask going, "Hello, I would like to send a letter to the famous fighter from Dryoda."
You're not wrong. I really need to learn that sending spell. Could be helpful.
Been laying low. That's fine. If I can find a discreet one, I shall.
Around this time is all the orders have been handed out to the other patrons here. Gideon will come over with the tray, set it down in front of you, clock them over there. Gesturing like, should I take it to them or let them? They gonna bring over here?
John will kind of like try to like wave to get their attention, maybe.
We see it.
What do? You going over? You saying?
Okay. Yeah.
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 Yeah, that's probably when we
you
finish.
wanna,
I don't know.
You wanna
It was
rejoin
either that
him?
or I was going to find a dinner roll and just chuck it.
Yeah.
I'm starting. So let's
Good
go
job.
eat.
Throw it like a dart. Just.
Yeah, they come
We'll
back
rejoin.
over.
It's a breakfast roll.
Well,
It's a
Oh,
biscuit.
breakfast.
good morning, everyone. Here's your food.
Good morning.
Typhoon. No hard feelings, right? Between
Yeah,
us?
no, honestly, I appreciate everything you guys did. I would like to also say that to was it Lieutenant?
Lieutenant. She's currently
I would love to apologize to her. I heard I kind of left a wound per se.
Oh, she'll probably have a scar for the rest of her life.
I feel even worse about that a little bit, to be honest with you.
Scars built.
It's a sign of honor.
Is there,
Hey,
is there a drink that
like
she
fist
likes
bump
I can
Gideon.
take her with? Or take her to? Or take to her?
I can put it on a tab for. I can put. We have this neat little board behind the bar. If you can pay it forward. Some people are like,
Yeah,
for the next
her
cleric,
drink on
but
me.
then they're all clerics, so they all try and fucking redeem the thing, and I can only give it to the first one.
Yeah, her next drink, if possible, is on me.
Okay. How nice of a drink.
I think you owe her the nicest because you did scar her.
Well, that depends on how much it costs. I'm not made of money.
Well, give him a price that you're willing to part with.
I like that.
That's fair enough. Insight on how much alcohol is? I don't know these things.
Yeah, you sure roll
That's
me inside.
in 15. I rolled an 8, but that's plus 7.
With a 15, there are a range of prices. The most expensive, drink you've ever run into was in a very, very fancy bar. And that was over on Dryoda. That was over there in one of the times that you were in Anel, because it's a fairly affluent, depending on the area, city. That one ran for a glass was a platinum. But that was a glass, and that was in a very affluent part. So
Okay.
you can, and the cheapest drink you've ever seen is grog for 5 copper.
I will slightly slide him 5 gold. Whatever this can get her, and you can keep the rest.
I think I can make a pretty nice drink with this much. You'll see. He'll actually. I gotta roll something for him. You all
That sound.
I know.
I don't
You
like
all
that.
see. Specifically, Ty. You see him. He will take and he'll put 3 gold. He'll put it in the hand. You'll see him try and slide a hand 3 gold into 2 gold into different pockets, and he drops one. He's like, "Oh shit!" Picks it back up real quick, puts them in 2 different pockets.
I just bombastic side eye and just make sure she gets a good drink.
I know.
I'm not gonna say anything else about it. I'll just let it go.
The storm should be clearing up. He'll look at the window. probably in about 5 to 6 hours. Then it should be safe for you guys to begin your trek up and over. You want to give it... By the time you get up to the part where you really didn't want to be, it should be better. Just be on the lookout for, rock falls and mudslides and potentially on where you're at an avalanche. So just be careful. That's why I didn't... When you guys had said you're heading over to Brom, I didn't want you to just tally on out, even though you did pay for a few rooms, which was very nice. But just the basics of it. I didn't want you to get hurt.
Oh, thank you for that.
You're welcome. Anyway.
I don't know if you're allowed to tell us. I was just curious. What's gonna happen with those prisoners?
What do you mean?
Like, are they just gonna stay in jail for the rest of their life, or?
Oh, you meant the gang members. No, technically, I've already called in for all but the big fella, to be sent off into a rehabilitation center, and then the big fella, well, how familiar are you with the sliver?
How familiar am I with this sliver?
Some of you
I know I've
more
traveled
than
back and
others.
forth,
Goose egg.
You can roll me
Not rolling.
for
History insight.
John, Teresa, and Typhoon. If you guys would like me to roll in history.
Okay. There's no modifier.
14?
Okay.
17.
22.
Typhoon, you kind of remember there being very harsh punishments. Other two, he's probably gonna get sent to Varash, which is the city where they people don't ever come out of if they're a criminal.
That's my sister.
No.
Your
It's
sister.
a different
my
sliver.
Your sisters and Campania.
Campania.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, my bad.
Yes. So Varash, generally, when prisoners go there, they don't come back.
Oh.
I did hear something along those lines. Well, he did try to kill me, so I can't say anything.
Twice.
Yeah. Oh, for the rest of the both, or good for the rest of them.
What kind of rehabilitation are we talking here? Just curious.
As much as I would love to know the inner machinations of the system that we're in, kind of doesn't work like that. I don't really know much outside of the guard comes, gets them, takes them on a train, they go away. The minor thieves I can work with and we rehabilitate here as part of the church. But
Definitely interesting. Don't want to be on the other side of that.
oh no, I mean it does work. I've met people that have been through it and they come out just fine.
Are they vegetables?
Just fine, and the word vegetables are the same to you? If so, I hope you never say you're doing fine. No, they come out, they're mostly respectable members of society. You can't quite wipe the slate clean if you've chiseled it. If you understand what I mean. You can wear down the edges of the text, but you can't really, without completely changing the person, clean away everything. So...
John will kind of frown at that. Yeah, I think for anybody with a decent passive insight, would probably tell that he doesn't necessarily agree with that statement.
13.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
17.
Yeah.
You doing all right there? You look like you've swallowed something sour.
No, I'm fine. That's just a very finite way of looking at people.
It is kind of
They don't
archaic.
change?
You don't think someone can change, and you think someone could change entirely, completely change who they were, become a completely different person, and not have any connection to who they were?
I think it's possible, yes.
Well, if that happens to you, I'd love to meet a different version of you, then give you some money, but... Not saying you're not great as you are now. I would just, if you're, believe it.
I think I more meant the idea of treating people like slabs of stone that have been chiseled at and are therefore imperfect and flawed in some way on a grave basis is just... It's a very unique look at things compared to what I'm used to, is all.
A little bit unique, if you understand. Put gestures to himself in the place he's in.
I understand.
Do you see them more as... what?
I see them as people. People with spirits and thoughts and hopes and dreams and wants and needs and desires, and I think that there's a lot of variables in a person's life and why they do the things they do. Don't get me wrong, the law's the law. But I think people themselves are a little less black and white.
Well, I mean, I feel like there's always like certain past things that are always going to leave a mark on you, you know?
Well, sure, there can be.
I understand what you're saying. You can look at the world through that lens if you'd like. That's perfectly fine. Just not a lens that I care for. If you start thinking about and caring for who they are and who they were, it comes down to you and it's going to be a fight. Are you going to really let that stop you from doing what's necessary? Oh, they're a person.
Well, no. But I feel like if I ever stopped thinking that way, then I would become no better than, I don't know, a oppressive dictator.
That's a fair way to put it, I suppose, if you have greater ideas for the world.
Just saying, it's...
I respect it.
Obviously, it's a different line of thinking.
Fair. Well, breakfast is on the house for all you except for you, Typhoon, technically.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm a
Thank you.
deputy.
You're welcome. You guys enjoy your food and your drinks. I'll be filling out paperwork. Walks away.
Have fun with that.
So,
we're headed to Brom next. What do we know about the guy we're talking to?
It's Peach's father. He's...
It's gonna be awkward for you, isn't it?
Oh, yes. Yes, but that's fine. He's not a fan of me, but very much loves his daughter. And would probably get along well with Dragonheart. Bit of a rough around the edges kind of person. Opinionated about certain things.
So he never really approved of you guys' relationship.
Oh no,
I'm guessing.
he thought that I was a terrible influence.
Really? I
Yes.
guess he's more of like a chaotic style person.
Well,
Is that right?
more like he felt as I was holding his daughter back. Which
In
I can't
what
fault
way?
him for thinking. Well, I mean, a distraction from what she was doing. I mean, her life's work.
Potential.
What's life without love?
Well, I think the same, but ultimately, to some degree, he was kind of right. I mean, Peach is. You met her. She's incredibly intelligent, very focused and driven in her work, and I think to some degree, part of the reason why our relationship didn't work out is because she was so driven by her work, and I didn't want to keep her from that, and she didn't want to be kept from it. So, yeah.
What are the chances of him punching you when he sees you?
Pretty high, but I'm anticipating that. I have a little bit of
Dragonheart,
time.
you get to knock on the door first.
All right.
We'll make sure that doesn't happen.
Well,
And should
don't
we stop it, or should we just let it happen?
just let him get it out. Would probably be
Okay.
for the best.
All right, fair enough.
And then talk to him. He seems to know a bit more about this revolution thing. I say very, very quietly, underneath my breath, very, very quietly.
I was gonna say
I say
please don't say that.
very,
You don't
very
even say the
quietly.
word, you just mouth it. Right, thought police are here, thought police.
I mean, a part of me's already a bit set on wanting to make a change and help the people, especially since I was a part of the problem hundreds of years ago. I know, but still a part of the problem.
You still feel like you have an obligation.
Yeah, I gotta balance the scales somehow.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. While the two of you were talking over there, we were discussing about what our steps would be after Braum, and we, gesturing to Dragonheart at least, because Dragonheart had confirmed that he also
That's what he wants
thought
to
it was bad, we thought it might be best if we leave after Braum.
And go to another sliver.
We're running again?
Well, we've been on this sliver how long? 2 weeks? 3 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, getting close to 3 weeks at this point.
Well, we've been here 3 weeks, and in that short amount of time have had several problems. It feels a little too much like tempting fate.
Okay, so you want a fresh new start on another
But
server?
you saw in my when Peaches was taking the button out of me, of sorts. You saw all those people, right? That were with me, right?
I saw the spirits of them, yes.
So I know I'm, grasping at straws here, but they're still somewhere in this sliver. They're in Gemstead. When I found that out, there's a part of me that kind of wants to, stay here and try and, figure this out. Like I kind of feel like I owe it to them.
John, let me take some heat off you real quick. You're talking about finding out what happened to them. You're talking about figuring out something. We were already doing something, and if you're talking about doing something for someone, this is my goal. I want to get off this sliver for one reason, and one reason only. I want to find out what happened to Rin. We left this sliver to make sure that you turned off your murder button, but we were already searching for who was the one that got Rin killed. I understand you have the possibility of seeing your friends, but there's a friend who's already gone, and we were already in danger, and that's why I want to leave. I'm not running from anything, I'm running to find answers. And I can't find them here, not now. I can't find them here when I can't punch the crap out of someone to get answers from something. I can't find them when we're trying to start a secret word here. The only way I'm going to get him is go back to the sources. And that is my main priority. I'm happy and indulged to make sure that you're happy and healthy. I'm here to make sure that we don't have cursed blades. I'm happy that we've made these choices, but my main goal is to find out who took a friend away from me. And I am angry. I have done very well trying to curb that anger. I'm very thankful for the training I've had, but I am still boiling under the surface because I watched a friend die, and I can't stand the thought of dancing around not finding answers. We have doppelgangers. There's someone out there who's pretending to be Rin right now. We have a friend gone. And as much as I want to encourage you to find these parts of your past, I'm selfishly don't. And I'm sorry for that. I really am. But I will never forgive myself if I can't find the answer to that.
No, you're perfectly valid in how you feel. Sorry, yeah, no, you're right. I think I've just kind of been lost in all of this and finding things about my own past that I lost sight of.
No,
what
look,
was important.
I'm not saying this to make you feel bad or guilt to anyone here. All of us, we all knew Ren. John, you have a very different relationship with that, and I recognize that. And I'm not trying to dictate what we do. But as far as not staying at this sliver, this is my reasoning. It's not us running. It's us finding answers that I think we all want. I'm not going to accuse anyone of not wanting this. I know I'm angry. I know I'm frustrated. I know I'm hot-headed.
No, you're right. Rin's death tore me apart, and I want answers just as much as you do. I think I just kind of lost sight of that, and no,
I don't think-
I agree.
We never did get a chance to grieve her properly.
We can come back to this, or I can come back to this later, when everything else has been settled.
We can multitask. Why don't we, while we're in this we're still going to Brahm talk to Peach said, why don't we put out feelers to see if we can send letters or find contacts to, at the very least, start gathering answers while we're focusing. Again, I know this is, it sounds callous when I'm saying to drop. You have had a lot of information dropped. You've had a lot happened since we've been in the continent, and I understand that, and I encourage the solving these things. And I know I'm being selfish in a lot of this because it is my anger. So,
But it's also valid. I don't want to hold that back.
as much as it is valid to punch someone who deserves it, sometimes is not always the right solution. So as valid as I can be in my anger and my callousness, I will always try and be diplomatic. If I can solve an issue without punching something, it is probably worth exploring. If this continent has attempted to teach me, if anything. So while we're here, while we're in Brahm, why don't we put out some feelers to see if, and this maybe it's because I'm not as familiar with the topic as you guys are, to find out if it is a memory, a ghost, or if it's reality. To kind of get some feelers while we also go after this goal. And again, this is a group decision. I'm not saying I'm going to get up and run away from all of us if we don't agree with my idea. I will gladly accept the group's decision, but I just wanted to make my mindset known, I guess. And as much as I appreciate you applauding me, John, for my self-control, if I'm being honest, I am struggling with that self-control a bit. It was very nice to be able to punch some people today, or yesterday. And meditation is definitely needed, but I just wanted to make my mindset known while we go forward.
There's more as well. And John will look like Teresa dead in the eye, and just say, I need you to have a little trust in what I'm telling you. There's more going on here. And there's more going on in Gemstead than you might know, than I can tell you, and I cannot tell you right now at this moment. And I will.
Okay.
And I need you to have faith in me that I will. Just know that the danger there needs to be explored a little further, I think, before we make an attempt to go.
That makes sense. I can't promise you that my reaction will be just reaction depending on what you are saying will be 100% calm and reasonable, but I will at least promise to try and hear you out.
I understand that, and I would never tell you, just don't get mad at me, but just try to understand that I am carrying what I believe to be your best interests at heart.
I would like to put my hand on like Teresa's shoulder too and just say that we will find your family in time.
Yeah.
Things will work out. For now, we need to be safe.
I'm not saying that I don't trust you, John. Ever since I met you, you've been very, very good with handling things, and I think you have a pretty good head on your shoulders. I think just when it comes to this matters concerning the sliver, matters concerning me, it's a bit more charged.
Of course.
I'm not saying I don't trust you.
No, of course. I understand. I also understand your desire to go and reconnect with those from your past. Genuinely, I do. I think that we should approach this with some caution and some patience, though.
I agree, and I will, as you say, approach this with all the caution and patience that I have.
Which is about this much.
It's a little bit bigger than that.
And-
Okay, the
And-
$5 foot
There you go.
long.
I will promise you, Teresa, I will make this promise to you now, that when we do get the information, and when we do figure out what it is we need to do, I will help you. You won't have to do it alone.
And you know I got
Like
your
I
back,
said.
Punchy.
Like I said, we all have your back.
Thanks, Flamey.
Oof, I hate that.
Oh.
Flame
me
me
We'll
up.
workshop it.
Flame you hot, man.
We'll
circle
we'll
around to
workshop
it.
Yeah. Do a bit of a workshop, focus group.
Yeah. Right, Water Boy?
Water tribe.
Speaking of just circling things back to spirits, John, I know you have a very intrinsic connection with that part, but I don't think we've touched this in depth. How do you communicate with them and kind of bring them into yourself? Is that
You know, for all the knowledge I have, that I cannot quite answer. That's actually something that I seek to find for myself. I'm not entirely sure of my connection to the spirits or why I can see them or they talk to me.
You've had
It's-
this your whole life, basically, right?
For the most of it, yes. So I really can't answer that question. It's something that I would like to answer and something that I hope maybe I can figure out along the way.
Yeah, I mean, I just, got the same, is not same, but similar thing. I got the spirit of Teresa in my, in me somewhere, and thought that was really weird because it's a bit, touch and go with the connection, and I know that with you is a bit more stable, so
Well, I don't know quite about that.
it's not stable.
There are times I've had moments where, because of my natural affinity for the spirits, it comes with its own set of challenges. Spirits, aggressive ones or ones that are capable of doing so, have an easier time getting a hold of me. There may have been a time or two where I've been possessed.
Oh,
That's gotta be
What
terrifying.
was that like?
Not fun. Like being
Ghastly.
strapped to
Oh,
like
wait,
being
was it?
strapped to the back of a cart that's being driven by somebody, but the cart is your body and you're watching them drive it. It's very.
So
so
you
that's
still
three of
are.
us now.
You understand, but like the difference with yours, you don't black out. You still see what's going on.
I think John probably would have that recollection and that
Oh, yeah.
memory. Yeah, yeah.
I feel like that might be worse.
Well,
Yeah.
so that's sort of well, like I said, I think because my working theory anyway, is because somehow around me the veil to the ethereal is a little thinner. That maybe that's why they have an easier time accessing me.
Sounds ghastly.
That that brings the tally up to 3 of us now that
Get
has
possessed or
been,
taken over?
either possessed or control just yanked out from under us.
Should we start a club?
I mean, I got a
It's
dragon
not
inside
fun.
me somewhere, so.
Does it take
Like,
control of
oh,
your body and
does
make
it
you do
possess
things?
you?
Not yet, but.
You have a dragon in your body?
I feel like I need to pray for all of you now.
Honestly.
God damn you both.
Claw will be like, I also have a
Dragon.
inside.
Oh, right.
That one I feel is a little different, but you're not wrong.
Dragon body buddies. Fist bump claw.
Just, yeah, she'll like do like
Wait,
that.
so is that what gives you your power?
Why do I feel like go to fist bump claw and she does like the.
Yeah, she just like
the high
puts her hand up and just slowly just around it.
We'll work on that.
Well, who are you giving that question to?
To Dragonheart.
I'm sorry, I missed the question. I was too busy
Is
fist
that
bumping
what
claw.
gives you your power?
I'm still learning more about that. I think the more I find of this dragon's
this-
body's spear, scavenger hunt, I'll be able to understand more. But until then,
Scavenger hunt? I
yeah.
don't think
So,
you actually mentioned any of this to Kevin, by the way.
oh yeah. So at the shop we went to that you didn't go to, I got a dragon bone.
You got a what?
I got a dragon bone. Bone of a dragon.
Paul will just be like, we'll shift away. Like,
John also.
That's kind of cool. Is it not? You guys don't like the dragon bone?
Well, it is
Was
the
it just
it is the bone of the
Does it have,
pair.
an offensive writing on it?
it's the bone of the dragon that killed my family.
oh
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
oh
It's also the dragon that may or may not have given me my abilities.
It's also the bone of a great and ancient. Well, you know what? That's enough. Yes,
You know.
that's enough on that.
You know, possibly the
So
last
you
dragon.
guys are connected through this bone. Did you know this before? Well, no, there's
No.
no way you could have known this before.
Yeah.
I feel like we should definitely reevaluate before trying to put this one back together. If it's the
Yeah.
dragon that killed Claw's family, that's gotta be traumatizing for her. See,
Do
I
you
feel
have
like
a
I'm saying
bone
trauma
for-
a lot.
Claw, are you okay? Oh, she's not gonna answer this. But
Well,
That's
well,
why.
are you okay?
let me ask you, now that you've had it for a brief period of time,
Mhm.
have you had more connections through it?
A little bit. I meditated with it yesterday and felt at least some mild connection. It definitely seems like a good focus point for working on abilities.
Like a conduit
What-
of sorts.
A bit, yeah, or at least think of a lightning rod where it's not a source but a directional of what's already there.
What happened when you connected to it?
Well, he showed up and
Oh, he
oh, you mean last night or the first time I saw it?
You did this last night
both?
after I just got Alright, you are a risky man. I don't know if I respect that or not, but it was interesting.
Well, because the first time we saw it, he kind of showed up. At least in a weird spiritual form where he kind of stopped time, and Claw and I talked to him. Then he talked to Claw for a little longer.
I feel like we should.
So you're
do this
also
when Claw's here.
possessed. Or-
No, I wouldn't say possessed. It was
possession?
more of just no possession would be taking my body.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't consider it as possession.
Nah, it's like no, it was more of a private conversation.
Hmm.
And
Well-
how does that make you feel?
It was new. That's for sure.
Can we also
Feel?
come back to this when Claw's here? Because I have questions for Claw, but like she's not here right now.
I
Yeah,
feel like
it's a
you're
tough
gonna
part.
like connect with all the like elements eventually.
One can hope.
Thinking,
That'd be
oh yeah, because you started out with
cool.
fire, but now I saw you do ice. I think once.
I've done ice. That some of that
Fire
was with
ice.
working with Rin.
oh.
Can you like do wind? Wait, if you do wind, can you fly?
No, I did it with Rin.
No, I'm saying, can you do wind?
Oh.
Also, like as a separate.
I thought you thought I said.
Can
Rin.
you win your win?
Can you win the win? I mean, I not as far as the element. Like I don't do a breath weapon of air
guess it's
yet,
just burping.
but I can kind of fly. You've seen that too.
Oh yeah, you're right. I guess I was thinking without that, but you know what? Never mind. You're right. That's true.
It would be like a rocket jump, like spread wings. Whee!
I was just thinking without the wings, you do need it. But you know you already had the wings, so at this point, it's already there.
Break D&D with rocket jumps, just like it was Quake.
Nope.
Yes. We are an interesting bunch of people. That is for sure.
A bunch of misfits. We're just a bunch of ingredients thrown into a single thing, baked at 350 degrees for 20 minutes, and out comes the order of tarts.
Are we really settled on that name? I
Look,
honestly,
it's
like,
been
is it
decided.
Slap.
It's what
slap.
Rin
Slap in the
wanted.
back of your head.
Look, someone said it, and now we can't change it. And I don't think it'll go well for you if we do.
It's what Rin.
It's not that we
wanted,
can't
so
change
it's kind of like
but it's in memory of Rin at this
Yeah.
point.
it's kind of in in memoriam.
Kind of the canon event.
What?
What?
Sorry, my power went out over here. It's kind of a canon event, so
But did you say your power went out?
a power strip. I had to.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Protectors.
I was like-
This is weird.
It's like, wow, that's
Your energy is very strange.
Either that or he would have
Just
had like
you, I've been
that
harnessing
those
the energy
power
of
strips.
electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the power strip itself just died. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just my space heater connected.
Through the thigh
What
bone.
would you change the name to then? If you
What if-
like
I genuinely don't know. I
What
don't
if we
understand.
change it, but keep
I
parts
all right.
involved?
Listen, when you're an order of something, right?
Yes.
It's usually in reference to. And here's where John goes on to explain why Rin calling them an order of tarts was a really bad idea. Because basically an order is like a religious reference or some sort of like noble reference, or so you have actual orders of things out there in the world that are gonna hear about the order of tarts and be like, what the fuck? And then probably be really pissed off.
You know,
Look,
we
it's a
could
play on
collect
words. It's
more
also
members.
an order of tarts. We order tarts, and in the order of the the restaurant terminology. And sometimes how good a tart is could very well be a religious experience.
We could
Got a
collect.
point.
The consequences of my own actions.
Backfire, but okay.
What if we actually start like in actual order, like with chapters all around the slivers?
Just drop a chapter in each city we go to, and the order of
Yeah.
tarts is like there's like one follower that like finds each chapter and keeps following it, and just finds us one day. It's like, I have found the holy text of the tarts.
John just looks up at. He doesn't believe in a deity, but looks up to the sky in this face of like, gods, please help me. And it's just like that's not how that works.
In the beginning, God set the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit.
I kind of want you guys to do that.
Yes.
That would be fucking amazing.
Can you
See, but it would have
like,
to end with Rin being resurrected after.
No. She's dead, but she just ascends to sainthood.
Yeah, exactly. She's resurrected for a moment. We're like, oh, Rin. She's like, thank you.
Wait, so Ren is Jesus.
Yes, I would make Rin
Rin is
Jesus.
And 3 years later, she rose like the
Hey,
yeast.
John,
The
Yes.
crushed
Can you
child.
ask Ren how like they feel about that?
It's a half-baked plan.
Oh my god.
The pun.
I'm
Man.
done with you. I'm done with you.
John will just sort of like look at Teresa for a moment, like, you really
Yeah.
want me to ask Rin, and I'm assuming Rin is standing behind John, like, yes.
More friends. More friends. More friends.
John
Yeah,
is you know what? John's gonna sit here and be like, you know what? All right, I will ask Rin what they think. And John will.
More friends. We can have friends that bake the like strawberry tarts, and we can have friends that bake like apple tarts, and we can have friends that
John will like pretend to nod and listen. Like,
Juice is
Right.
the blood of God.
Right.
and,
This is
and
the blood
I
of
could
Rin.
be the crushed child.
you know, you make a very good point, actually. Yes, I'll pass that along to them.
About
Thank
being
you
the
so
crushed
much.
child.
Rin hates it. Actually, they think that
Insight.
it's a bad
Insight
idea.
check.
I don't even know if I need to insight that.
I'll roll deception just
All
for
right.
funsies. Yeah. 15.
19.
Insight. 22.
Bullshit.
I don't like that you just rolled.
Claw had to roll.
Oh, claw.
No.
That's
Oh,
that's
Gideon.
bullshit, John. That's bullshit, and you know it.
You feel. Rin is currently attempting to like push themselves into John to stalk,
God damn it.
but doesn't fully know how to do it.
Good.
So you kind of just feel like roughly a child of Rin's size pushing on the back of John's head, just being like, "That's not what I said.
That's
Let me
cold.
talk to him."
Stop it.
It's just the group is just
All
like
right, all right,
all in
all right.
unison, like bullshit.
All right,
Do we
all
see
right.
John
Okay.
just like struggling?
Yes, yeah. John's like physically like your tiny hands are so cold.
All the better for kneading dough.
Reminds me when I die to put gloves on. I'm just saying.
Look, if Jesus was a carpenter, Rin can be a baker.
You feel
I think
hands.
when I die to put gloves on.
Gloves on your dead body.
Because Rin's hands are so cold. All right, okay, all right. Rin likes the idea. Now will you stop it?
Good.
Okay.
Then it's settled. When all of this is over, we gotta make sure there's an order of tarts in each town that we
I don't know
visit.
if I want to put my legal name on that, but okay.
Well, I mean,
Not
a
your
lot of
legal
religious text doesn't have an author at the bottom. That's
Yeah, right.
one of the things that makes it a religious text.
We are not starting a cult.
name. No.
The Knoll could start a cult.
Listen, the
The
player said
Knolls.
knew immediately what I was going.
If it becomes big enough, then it's not necessarily a cult. It becomes a religion, right?
All right, Nariana, you know religious text. You can make it sound
That sounds
fancy
like
like that.
Everyone can bring
What
bug
does a
friends,
religion
so
constitute? Like, how many people do you need to be considered a religion?
And
One.
not like a cult.
I was gonna say one probably.
Called.
No, we're not. Absolutely
Look, a
not.
cult gives it a bad name. If ours is about spreading love and friends and tarts, I see it as nothing than other than a peaceful gathering of the Juggalos.
Looks at the names of cults that have actually turned out to be bad, but had good sounding names.
Oh, you mean like more? Never mind. I just realized we're on live stream.
We're not impacting that.
Well, clipping that now.
Sorry.
Just a loser.
We are not impacting that.
You guys have this, conversation for the next few hours. Is there anything? Oh, everyone hydrate. And sit well. And stretch.
Stretch.
Sapphire on the quick redeems.
Ah.
Okay. You guys, the rain after a little bit does begin to die down substantially to a point where you guys feel like you could go around town and not get, completely drenched. It's more of like a mist that falls. So if you guys wanted to go anywhere before leaving town entirely, you can. Or we can jump to you guys hitting the dusty trail.
Oh, it wouldn't be so...
The muddy trail.
How about you guys? But I'm ready to hit the road.
I don't think.
Dragonheart immediately starts punching for it.
You've been waiting to let that
Actually,
out.
Dragonheart, do you want to go back and spar for a little bit? Get that out of your system?
We're not allowed
Wait,
to
we
spar.
should probably do that, yeah, like on the road where nobody's at, maybe.
We're not allowed to spar.
Yeah.
That
Not
counts as
where,
fighting.
like, the...
Wait, what if it counts as
People are-
teaching?
I mean, if we leave La Sombra, then we should be okay.
Alright, when we
mean,
camp
Lumbra.
tonight, we'll spar.
Hey, La Sombra. That's a much cooler name than this.
La Bamba.
Do you guys want to? We're gonna jump ahead. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. So after a few
Yeah.
hours, you guys enjoy. After every so often, Gideon will come over, check in with you guys, give you like an ETA on the weather, and while you guys are like gathering your stuff. All right, it was a pleasure to getting to know you. You are the most interesting group I've ever seen, outside of my crew, but. Take care of yourselves. You are going out into the wilderness, so there might be other people traveling, there might be bandits, there might be monsters, beasts. Just a word of advice, since just remember, it's illegal to fight and kill other people unless you're defending your own life and you can knock them out. The rule does not apply to monsters and beasts that threaten your life. Just so you know, as long as they're not a citizen or a person of the sliver, you can defend yourself a bit better than against a normal person.
Now, if bandits were to be, like, considered monsters.
That would be
I
something
think he's
that
talking
you should.
about humanoids.
Yes, if you want to consider them monsters, you should probably go stop at the church before you leave. You obviously have a skewed sense of morality. So yes, if
Thanks
they're,
for not killing Ty.
I
Or
wouldn't.
whatever you guys are gonna do with him afterwards.
Would you? What if he would actually murder? Oh, he would be joining the Goliath.
Which is basically a death sentence.
Anyway,
Anywho.
so
Alrighty then.
yeah, take care of yourselves. Maybe I'll see you again someday. Who knows? Technically honorary deputies ad nauseum. Is that the right word? Did I use that right? I want it to sound smart in front of you.
I
Yeah,
believe
you did good.
John will just nod.
Perfect. Except for you, Typhoon, that got revoked as soon as you were arrested.
I mean, that's fair.
Don't forget, you have to carry around that paper.
I have it, And I'll pat my chest in my secret pocket.
Not so secret anymore, and everyone knows it's in that general area.
I said I pat my chest. I didn't say I patted the pocket.
That's fair. All right. Well, be safe.
Also, on my way out, I would like to find the lieutenant. Just give her a quick thanks. We don't have to act it out. I just want to do it. It's up to you.
Yeah, I mean, you can
Get
ask her.
expired!
You ask her where she is. She's currently, like, the last time they saw her, or anyone saw her, she was sitting in one of the gardens out in front of the, like, mountain church building.
Yeah, I'll just go and like tell her thanks for everything and sorry for the cut and whatnot.
Well, thank you for apologizing. It's a sign of the job. It's not something that has happened to me often, but it is technically a workplace hazard.
Well, I mean, scars tell really cool stories, so I like it.
Thank you. I hope no one gets to see that scar anytime soon, but...
I mean, you never know. There might be a special someone. I like jokingly just.
Thank you, Typhoon, for your apology.
Like, all right, well, we're heading out, but again, thanks. And
Be safe. Don't lose the paper.
I won't.
Hopefully next
got
time
it
I
right
see you,
here.
I don't have to put you in manacles.
I also hope the same.
And she will get up from the bench and walk back into the church.
Onwards to Brom.
Is there laminating in this world? Because that'd be a good idea for that paper.
I was thinking
The
that.
paper is
Like, what's
the
a
paper
way to
is
keep these-
a special, like, not enchanted, but especially crafted
Okay.
material that is weather resistant.
Okay.
It would need to sit in direct storm for probably like 2 months straight to become slightly legible.
Wow.
Gotcha.
So
Good to know.
it's an important thing on this sliver.
That's a strong piece of paper.
You would also be told about the piece of paper that there is an arcane insignia inside of it, where, you know, generally the upper parts of whatever police forces in the city will be able to detect.
Oh, joy.
Not as in they'll know exactly like where it is or who it is or anything like that, but they'll know, and so they're more likely to ask.
Oh, joy.
So that's pretty much the conditions of that piece of paper you have. All right.
Everything should be fine.
So you guys get Frankie and Peanut, get the cart and everything ready. Who's driving?
All right, we'll drive.
Okay. Anyone up front?
I mean, John can help for the start.
Cool. So you guys are gonna be able to go. You guys get on the road, probably around like 3 p.m., 4 p.m. You guys can still have, hours of movement closer to Brom. And you guys begin to set off. At this point, you guys have had enough time with Frankie and Peanut. I will not require animal handling checks for them unless there is a incredibly tense or, difficult situation.
Or Hawk.
Or a hawk.
Hawks.
I knew there was a hawk.
You guys begin to go the trail that you guys are on. As you do, it is slightly north of the city itself. So you have to go north a little bit away along. There is a pathway. This is not a heavily traveled route for many reasons. You're going through a mountain range, and Brom is it's big on the map that we have available, but it is not big in the sense of what the country cares about. So it doesn't really have that many ways to get there. There is a road technically from the semi around the train tracks, but that's on the way other side of the mountain range, so not useful for you. the pathway can fit, maybe 2 carts wide, depending on the size of the cart and the overall, way it's being driven and the conditions on the, path itself. It's a easy and quaint start. This pathway is the most traveled, this part of it, because people also, go up and down just various heights of the mountain range for various multitude of reasons. So you guys will have probably about 3 hours of easier travel through the mountain range as you guys are going through forests and the trees and everything as they ascend up until you get to the more sparsely flora, rockier terrain at about like the 3-4 hour mark.
Are there like flowers along the path?
Yeah.
Can I just quickly like hop off and like pick a few before hopping back on?
Oh yeah, they're not. I mean, if you do a light jog, you catch up. The horses aren't moving super fast. You are going slightly uphill, and they're great horses. Don't get me wrong, but they are
Okay.
just
Got it.
mortal beings.
All right.
Yeah, so they're
That we
probably
once
know
I-
of.
Once I do that, then I'll just like add it to the flowers that I had collected on my travels.
okay. So you guys travel along for a while. Let me make a roll.
While sitting up with John, I'll probably talk with him about his connection with spirits and how he thinks that would equate to. But I know he doesn't believe in deities, but like the possibility of, if there's a veil, what's the possibility of there being what his ideas of what the possibility of there being deities are.
Oh well. John would like confirm that he knows deities exist. There's obviously like divine magic, and there are different deities of different things. He just doesn't have that sort of like connection or faith based relationship with any of them. That kind of thing.
Is it the case of like I believe I don't? It's like it's not that I don't believe in deities. I just don't believe in deities.
I mean, it's more like
He doesn't have a connection to them.
right. That's not how he was raised. That's not how he draws his powers. He's never like reached out. They've never reached out. That kind of thing. So, without any of that influence in his life, he'll just kind of explain that that's why he doesn't really have a connection there.
Gotcha.
I don't know anything about deities, so.
Would you like to learn?
Would I? I mean, I think I'm
No,
good for
you
now.
believe in the sea and its destiny it has for you.
Yeah, and most I hear about is probably like Poseidon and other sea gods, but I'm good, I think I'm good.
Well, if you ever want a discussion about deities, I'm your girl.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That's kind of you. I trust in the deities of this drink.
The spirits I believe in be in the bottle.
Oh
This is just
my
Dragonheart,
God.
like somewhat playfully taunting you.
Well, there are
That would be
deities
subtle.
of wine and revelry and such.
That sounds
This is true.
amazing.
Yeah, you see
Okay,
him
maybe
every.
about hearing those will do you great.
You see him at the bottom of the
Speaking
bottle when you
of-
flip it upside down.
Typhoon, I do owe you an apology. I didn't mean to call you an alcoholic. I don't believe that. I understand that you've, especially with the trauma of your sister, like
You're
there's a
not
reason for you to do it,
necessarily
and
wrong.
I judged you too harshly, and I feel the need to apologize for that.
You're fine. I mean, with my past and whatnot, we're all known to drink anyways. You're totally fine. I never took offense to it.
Well, I feel better for saying something.
I appreciate the
I've
gesture.
cleared my conscience.
Do you want to drink? No, I mean, we can always drink together.
I appreciate the offer, but I'm good.
Alrighty, no worries.
Okay.
What are some other things that you're not allowed to do?
It's not that I'm not allowed to. It's just something I've chosen to abstain from.
What are some other things you've chosen to abstain from?
Intimate relations.
Like
I don't
you'll
believe in.
never have a partner, or
Forever.
No, just the casualness of it. I would prefer to find someone and fall in love, and because I grew up with my parents,
Oh.
and they love each other deeply, and I want something like that. I want
So like
to find a
courting first?
yeah.
Okay, so
An
you're not
owl?
opposed to like a relationship at all, just like
No.
sexual relations before marriage.
Yes, precisely.
Okay, no, that's understandable.
I certainly understand that to a degree.
I look at John like, we had like there's some story behind that, but I'm not gonna say anything.
We did just meet his ex.
For our two drivers,
Nah, I just want to know more.
I imagine this conversation is happening right now where like Teresa and Typhoon are like poking their heads up in between
Yeah.
Sean and
Just
Ariana.
like-
Dragonheart's just
On our
behind the
shoulders.
flap, just shouting quips.
Yep.
Well, we are.
And
yeah.
be at the bottom of a bottle. And like you get like a thumbs up behind you from behind the curtain.
I sure did.
Like Stat and Waldorf from the Muppet Show, just up in the rafters.
For the two drivers, give me perception checks.
Oh, that's so bad. 10.
22.
Okay, I'm about to say, come on there, cleric. Your perception should be pretty
Especially
baller.
Twilight Cleric.
7.
Yeah.
That's a clear.
Looking around, as you guys have gone up, there is still that heavy, humidity in the air. Even though it is more of like the fall, there is still like that scent and feel of rain as everything is very wet. And there is a slight cover of mist and fog as it comes. You're going up in elevation. You catch something out of the corner of your eye, slightly off to the path, in like a craggier area as you're beginning to leave the more wooded, grassy area and get into that mixture of rocky and grass. It seems like a very dense patch of fog. But in front of it, kind of, on the outskirts, you see the outlines of individuals like sitting and kicking their kicking their feet while they sit on rocks, and there's an abundance of beautiful flowers and various plant life that you can just make out of as they're in the heavier as you're approaching.
Okay. It seems like we might be coming up on some people up here.
Well, hopefully this group doesn't try to kill us.
Did I tell you about speaking things to the universe?
You just
Wait,
did
that was
now.
a different campaign.
Yeah.
So what's the plan?
Just casually keep going. I don't think we should
Okay.
stop.
Just smile and wave. People smile and wave.
Okay, I'll
As
stop.
you get closer, Nariana, you can definitely start to make out these individuals. John, it takes you a bit longer. Roll me either a nature or a history check, you two.
Both of us? Okay.
Yeah.
Nature or history. And they are both -1.
Intelligence.
Which I'm lacking.
It's okay, me too.
Dirty 20.
Okay.
16.
Not bad with a dirty 20 and a 16. You can see that these individuals have like leaves like covering their body, almost made from these, the plant life around them. They have various flowers in their hair. They're very relaxing. They appear to be some sort of like naiad.
Wood nymphs?
Yeah.
Naiads.
And they're, as you approach, you can kind of hear the sounds. They're probably about 30, 40 yards away. So they're a distance, but you hear the sounds of, multiple people talking, and this just ever so faintly, the sound of somebody like going like splash into something. But
What would Ariana know about naiads?
with
History?
Is that what you say? Is that what you rolled for your?
I just rolled. I didn't choose one. I guess history.
So with what you know about naiads is they're, kind of like they're fae folk. They have like a whimsy to them and everything like that. They have playful sides to them. They're more often peaceful than anything else. They're not as chaotic as what, John described pixies to be.
Have you ever run into naiads before, John?
Not really, but I'm aware of what they are.
Should we just continue on and just wave as we pass?
We should be fine with that.
Okay.
Okay. You guys pass by and you'll see them be like, "Hi, have fun, good luck, bye, bye."
Kind of like
Ah.
waves.
I don't like that they said good luck.
I was gonna say, as we're waving, John will be like, "Wait a minute, excuse me,
What?
what did you mean, good luck?"
Just with whatever you're doing, man.
All right, I wasn't sure if you knew of something up ahead, like a rock slide or something.
Oh, are we on the material right now? Wild.
All right, never mind then. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
They're hippies.
Right?
No, they're dyads.
John continues to contemplate that statement.
And that's where we're going to take a break.
Fuck!
So we will be right back and don't go nowhere.
After these messages.
Messages.
Bye-bye.
Ba-da-ba-da. Beyblade, we're back.
And now for another apology.
I loved Beyblades.
I'm not Anyway, let me spend the next 10 minutes taking up our time. So we rejoin. Everyone is, you guys are passing by. John is, contemplating what they could have meant and what words they said as you guys carry on up the mountain.
Yeah, while I'm contemplating, can I do an Arcana check?
Certainly.
Cool.
And I'm also going to be scanning the area more diligently. Perception check?
Yeah.
25.
24.
So, with you guys both being on edge and picking up from the conversation as you guys went by, John, the weave feels loose right now.
In this area, it feels loose.
Around the time when you now, Ariana, the terrain is staying true to what it should be and everything. It's the temperature that's weird.
Is it getting colder, hotter?
Hotter. You guys are beginning to sweat because of humidity. After the rain and the temperature you guys are at, there is a sense of it's just, you can't stop being slightly, sweaty in the humidity.
Everybody can hear my internal fans turning on.
Yeah, that would be terrible design. Ah, yes. I need you to infiltrate this place that has a furnace. That's
Have
weird.
we already started ascending the mountain or no?
What? Yeah, your stats are still going up.
Okay. So I'm going to point out to John, hey, John, we're ascending a mountain. It should be getting cooler, but for some reason it seems to be getting hotter.
Yes, I believe that has something to do with the magic in this area. It's not what it should be.
Well, that's concerning.
I have to wonder if maybe there's some type of rift in the weave here or something that could be in reference to what those naiads were talking about.
What should we do?
We need to be very, very careful. This could potentially turn very dangerous very quickly. Take it slow. Be on guard.
All right, alert it is.
And John will also give the alert to the others too.
What's the terrain
A
like?
rift.
The terrain has left your favored.
Sick.
I understand what you were asking with that ranger.
Just
You
curious.
you're leaving the wooded area. You're leaving because the area around Lumber was fairly wooded, but there was a lot like closer to the mountainside. But you're leaving that to more of a. I would say, depending on what you were asking, I would allow your ranger things, but it's kind of a it's a difference in what you're looking for, and where you're looking.
I was just gonna be more kind of like on the lookout or on guard, especially because I don't know a whole lot about magic. But John seemingly kind of being concerned about it makes me extra concerned.
Okay.
Spiking
So-
up the anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm watching be all for nothing.
I'm gonna just keep an eye on the backside of the wagon. You know.
You go off for a few more, hours as it gets into night. The temperature does not go down. It is still rather warm. I'd say mid to upper 80s.
Can I do like a nature check maybe to see if it's like a natural kind of heat, like if it's like because of humidity or because of something else?
Go for it.
Okay.
I will let you use your special bonuses for this because this is still close
Okay.
enough to where you would understand the weather around a favored terrain.
Okay. 19.
With a 19, you know that this is a little bit more than the natural. There is, thinking about nature and elements, this does feel elementally driven, but it does not feel natural in the sense of not norm.
Okay. I'll kind of pass that along or just like say to the group that this feels, like elementally driven, but not necessarily natural to where we are.
Taking that, Teresa would she know anything about this with living on the sliver?
Nope.
Both a robot. Okay. Well, that's weird.
Oh, let's just keep an eye out for anything strange, I guess.
That's
Nariana's just being diligent with her scans.
Okay. It's getting closer to the part where you guys are going to need to find a spot to sleep for the night.
Excuse me.
It's all the humidity in the mountain air.
Man, it's like real life.
yeah.
Goddamn allergies.
If someone wants to try and give me a survival check to see if you guys can find a good spot to camp.
I have a +5.
I was gonna say it's gonna be the people with either like the ranger here.
Yeah, I was
I have a
gonna say, I'll try
+4.
and see.
Could I potentially
But-
help by casting dancing lights and maybe seeing if I could get a good read on the magic stability of certain areas with that?
Clever them.
What are they? A fucking raptor now?
Give me an Arcana.
That's what I need. I need a lizard folk like character who has
23?
a praise kink.
Okay.
Clever girl.
With that, you are purposely creating these lights to kind of act as, like sensors.
Right.
There are casting light, obviously. You're just using them in specifically, because at a certain point, dancing lights is a very basic. No, you don't have to think much about it. You can draw them, but you don't really feel a connection with your dancing lights. They're just an effect that you control and you pull using.
Right.
You don't really care about their experience in the air or wherever you put them.
Sure.
So you specifically are like crafting and honing in. You kind of have to like constantly have hand-on focus.
Yeah.
To resonate with it. The weave, definitely, while you're doing this, you can get a sense of where it is, and you seem to be pretty in the thick of the wibble wobble.
Got it.
So you can get advantage on that roll then.
Cool.
Always set yourself up for success.
We need at least a 10-foot radius.
5, 23.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Pretty good.
You find a kind of like a little bit up and then off on a little plateau. You can see as you're coming up, just through the trees, very faintly that's there. There is a small, like, looks like a cave. Doesn't look, you can't quite tell from where you are, but you can hop off on the main trail, go around this plateau and over to it on your own claw to investigate as part of this.
Yeah.
It appears to be a, not super deep, but a small, like, there's a shelf above from the mountains, and it kind of gives this decently sized, probably about 15-foot deep, 15-foot wide space.
Can I see like all of the corners of it, or should I like? Do I need to explore?
You can see it all.
Okay.
There's
Okay,
nothing in there. There were remnants of like nests and things, but with your understanding and surround there, that there's nothing currently residing.
Well, before she does that, I'm going to point out that if we could find a 10-foot radius area, I can cast Leo Mun's Tiny Hut.
Ooh, tiny hut.
So you could theoretically
Make us a hut.
inside of there.
Okay.
Cool. Yeah, I'll come back to the group and let them know what I found, and then based on the tiny hut situation, I'll just recommend that we do that for the night.
You guys go with it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds
Sounds
good.
good.
I will cast Tiny Hut.
What does your tiny hut look like?
It looks kind of like a circus tent. It's like a dark blue with stars on it, and the moon, and just very celestial looking.
So that's what you guys being the chosen ones that around this, you guys see it as the veil begins to and block you guys from sight while you're in there. And you guys can easily make decent. I will say 10 feet. You can't fit the carriage, and everything will sit where you guys can see at the mouth, but it can't also be within the 10 feet.
Does it
That
help
is-
with the humidity?
I mean, doesn't it have? I'm pretty sure it has control over the environment on the inside. You can block rain
Command
with
the
it.
interior. Oh, it doesn't say about the. It just says become dimly lit or dark. It doesn't say anything about like temperature control.
Conditioning.
Atmosphere. No, it does. The atmosphere
Yeah.
inside the space is comfortable and dry regardless of the weather outside.
Yeah, you can block rain. Yeah, so you guys, it's kind of like the AC of a building. Kind of just there's just this gentle. It's not cold. It is like you kind of like get dried off after time, especially with the, you can have it dim or dark. If you're gonna want to be in there, you're gonna need a little bit of light. But you guys can like dry off, and it begins to be a nice, very calm time.
We put the horses in there and leave the cart outside.
Horses
This
are
is nine-
massive.
Well, they said 9 creatures of medium size or smaller. Oh, okay.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say
they're-
creatures are
There's
not,
only 6 of us, so
Large.
Well, I think horses count as
I think
large.
horses count as large.
Frankie and Peanut are large.
They're
So that's
large.
2 lorges.
They are big boys. They're within sight. You can see them.
okay. So we still need to do guard and all that good jazz.
Oh yeah.
This is nice. I like it. I didn't know you could do this.
I forgot I could do it.
That's crazy.
Come in handy.
That's crazy.
So when I'm forgetful,
That's
remind
crazy.
me that I could do this.
Well, how am I supposed to remind you of abilities I don't know you have?
That's true.
At least of this one we know.
Who's taking what
colors.
watches?
I do first watch.
I'll take first.
I'll take second.
Okay, who else on second?
I'll take second. Oh,
God second. No, you got it.
you got second? Yeah,
no,
Okay,
you
so that
got
means
it.
it's John and Ty at the end. Cool.
Come here, John.
Come here.
John's like,
You know what? On second thought, anybody want to switch? Anyone? No. All right.
I don't
No.
bite.
Damn.
Touch.
Ooh, you know what? I think I hear my dad calling. I'll just-
What about my
That's
career?
crazy.
boom, boom.
I'm going to have to make a printout of that pamphlet.
Please. We'll put it up on the wall.
Frame it.
So, for those of you taking your, beginning to take your long rest, do not hit it yet, 'cause you have not hit it, but you guys go to sleep. First watch. Give me
Checks.
the looky-loo check.
Looky Loo.
Ooh, dirty 20.
19.
30, 20, and a 19.
Really good.
That's terrible.
Oh, never mind, jerk.
That's real bad.
Who are you?
You guys look out. The rain has definitely stopped. Giddy was 100% correct. You guys feel very good in here. You guys can see the horses. You've undone them. So they're in the cave technically with you because it's 15 by 15. You guys are taking 10. So there's still a little bit of space where they can be inside the cave. Close to you guys. Every so often you'll see them just like understanding, because I've made them semi-sentient, that you guys are behind somewhere. Like Frankie or Peanut will just like lean their head in, make sure you guys are there still, and come back out.
That's so cute.
I'll always wave when they do that, just like, hi.
Oh hey.
Hey, little guy.
Do you technically have a pixie? Do you bring Hollyhock out, or
Thinking about it.
and do you bring Fang out?
Will Fang fit with us?
Technically as small as medium, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll bring them both out. Yeah, I'll bring them both out. My babies.
What color for Fang?
Where we are, probably white.
You feel a little bit of cold energy, like as he is, summoned, and it kind of like you get like a shiver, but then the AC powered Leomund's tiny hut levels you out. And then Holly will just like uncurl from the like plant and open up like a flower and be like, that was a good nap.
Can I ask her to cast Detect Evil and Good?
You want to use her spell for the day?
Yeah. Well, it's
What?
because it's the end of the day, right? Is it like 24 hours,
No, it's
or
for
is
rest.
it like day
It's one per day.
for
No,
rest?
it's per rest for her. Technically, it's a day.
Okay, then yeah.
Yeah, she will cast it. What's the range?
I need to look at it. When I click on her, it doesn't
Oh, I can bring
bring
it
it
up. then.
up.
I got you.
Okay.
How are you asking her is the question.
I would just let her know that we're kind of like nervous right now, and that if she has the ability to detect anything that might harm us or cause something magical, I guess. Because I don't necessarily know her like abilities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would just ask her if she has any way to like detect anything that might be around us. Then, if she could cast that for us, that would be great.
Okay. Let me. Good. It is 30 feet.
Okay.
So, and it lasts for 10 minutes as long as she's concentrating on it. So,
Okay. And I'd probably walk with her like around the mouth, sort of or like the opening of like where we are, so it goes a little bit further.
Okay. So you don't detect as you're going around with this in the 30 feet. You actually goes like, oh, yeah, I could probably, yeah, I can figure things out. Okay. And she will cast the spell as like kind of like pixie dust, like, and acts as like individual sensors around that, glisten and glitter with the various tone. Anyone technically Feyfiend Undead. Yeah. So you don't get, with it from any of your compatriots, but you do get a sense closer to the mouth as they're more of an elemental tone.
Okay. Interesting. So I'm starting to think that there must be some kind of like fire elemental up where we are, given like the heat, and then me picking up on elemental vibes, and now her picking up on it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably share that with the group when we wake up.
It's me.
From what you guys, have for your watch, nothing crazy. Nothing. You guys don't have to. Nothing changes. It's the early evening, nighttime when you guys settle down. Nothing's super active around. You guys can see for a distance. It is kind of blocked by trees, and you can look down the mountain path a little bit, but it is fairly uneventful.
While on watch, I'll talk to Claw and be like, "So Dragonheart let us know that when it got that bone, apparently it belonged to the dragon that murdered your family, and it talked to you. Are you okay? Like, that must have been just terrifying. Like reliving that and all the memories that came with it."
And that is a perfect segue into
I listen.
reliving that moment as we rewind back to Lombra when you were all having a wonderful conversation.
Totally wonderful.
Define wonderful.
Nothing wrong with it.
It's like completely changed the music that's playing.
Nobody cried.
I have the Eye of the Tiger playing, so it's all good.
My
It's just
song is
on
called
repeat when you
Darkness
play
Below.
Dragonheart.
Claw, as the box is being opened to show it, there is this wave of energy. A draconic presence enters the room. You see this visage. Once again, you've seen it in the past. It is not as clear cut as when you saw it, but you see this gargantuan figure off in the expanse. Its draconic features constantly ebbing, flowing, changing, metallic, gem, chromatic, just all the features changing all at once. And it looks at you. And through the veil of what would normally just be a color changing shadow, since you've had direct contact, you see this presence. As you look around, you are back in your village. You are back in the exact moment before it passed. But this time in the scenario, it is not on its side, breathing heavily, attempting to live. It is claws down in front of you, its gargantuan face brought down, staring at you. You're but a tiny part in its eye.
Probably pop the anxiety and being back in that moment. Probably, yeah, pop the. Yeah.
Do you attempt to call out Fang?
Is it like I'm right back in that moment, or am I still kind of conscious of where I am now, but back in the moment?
You're back in the moment.
Then, and that would be like before, kind of like.
You
would
have
this be
your current
before?
memories but
Okay.
you're back in the
Then I'd probably try and call it Fang.
Doom, doom. You feel him hit against the the wall of your soul and your energy as the dragon. Oh dear, dragon touched. Do not forget that it is my kin within you. The heart of the dragon still beats on within you, I see. It is good to know.
Probably just breathing heavily and like trying to like scramble back away from its like giant face in my face.
It exhales and just that the very intense. It feels like you are in front of an inferno as he breathes out just from the air he expels. I see you have not fully squandered the gifts that I have given you. Do you respond at all?
What gifts have you given me? I don't understand. I don't think that you've given me anything but pain and suffering.
I can see how a child of your caliber would think that. Rightly so. But do you ever wonder why I was there? How that situation came to pass?
Every day, she'll start to kind of like tear up. Every day I think about why and how.
At the time, I was fueled by rage, the want for revenge, the want for my child.
Revenge for what? We were a peaceful tribe.
You were a peaceful child. Your tribe, the people you that were there, the father. And as he says the father, I need you to give me just a perception check. Is it in the moment?
Okay. Wow. 21.
With a 21, as he says the father, there is a kind of tiny break where you can see a second, version of him as a veil kind of splits. And as he says the father, you see Dragonheart. Before it...
Dragonheart Junior or Senior?
Junior.
Okay.
But it is not why I come to you, Dragon Child. I come to you now, asking for aid.
Why would I aid you?
Because without me, the balance of the world has been shifted. You'll see him change once again, in his ever-changing form at this point turns into like a half green, half gold dragon before it shimmers back.
You do seem very powerful and ethereal, almost.
In my current state, I have only existing through the remnants of my arcane power within my own bones. The very bone that is being revealed to you currently. I am asking you and the other Dragon Touched to help assemble the pieces of me that have been scattered about. And in return, I will attempt to bring your family back.
So kind of like gasp at that. I don't. How would I? You're gigantic, and this is only the tiniest piece of you. I don't.
As you approach more of my skeleton, I will have more power to guide you. But, from what I can sense, larger parts of my skeleton still exist in those that either deem me study-worthy or rich enough to pilfer bones and display them.
Okay, if it means that there's a chance to get my family back, I will help you. And if you do say that the world has shifted without you in it, then I suppose it's my duty to bring the balance back.
Indeed. And as for the gifts that I've given you, I have awoken your weapon. What you were handed so long ago was merely a pale comparison to what it can become.
Okay, thank you.
I have also given you the ability to connect with my kin in a way that is unusual to the world.
You have been my nightmare for so many years, and every dragon I encounter brings me back to this very moment. I don't know how I could use this gift without feeling immense fear.
Use that fear. As he'll kind of come closer to you and he'll show his parts of his teeth that you are you could easily be destroyed by them.
Yeah, like a ripple of my fur will stand on end.
That fear, that natural instinct you have has helped you stay alive this long. Embrace it.
Okay.
Or when the time comes, be as fierce as your people were in my last encounter with them.
She'll kind of clench her jaw and stand a little taller at the mention of the ferocity of her tribe, and I will.
Good. Now, we have things to discuss beyond this. Would you like to know what your family's last words were?
Yes.
Brave. I shall let you know your father. He, in his dying words, thanked me. Because I knew where you were, Dragon Child. But I understood that this fight was not of your creation, and I sensed a resonance within you.
So you knew, but you spared me.
Indeed.
And he thanked you for that. Okay, thank you for letting me know.
You're welcome. Your mother's final words were her begging and pleading and asking that if I lived to take care of you. And I fulfilled my end. I outlived them.
Huh. Okay. But you outlived them, but you didn't fulfill her dying wish. You didn't take care of me. You died as well.
That is why I bestowed upon the gifts that you have. The last of my power went to binding you to Fang, giving him motes of my power. Do you ever wonder why he is able to shift and change?
I've wondered. I just figured it had something to do with, I don't know, like, that makes more sense. That's enlightening.
Why do you think you have a connection with dragons now? I knew that you could survive. And so I gave you those gifts.
And I suppose I must thank you for fulfilling my mother's dying wish then.
You're welcome, Dragon Child.
At this point, there's just like tears like streaming down her face from just like the intensity and like all the revelations.
My final piece. Embrace your horde, child. And then you come back to this moment.
Okay. So Nariana asked,
What's that like?
so what happened?
What happened was.
So what happened was I had barbecue sauce on my titties.
Oh my god.
There was.
No.
My titties.
Cloud will just get kind of like quiet as you kind of seen her get before, and it was a terrifying yet deeply revelatory experience. I spoke with the dragon that gifted me Fang, but also destroyed my entire life. And he asked me for a favor, and I found out that he bestowed many favors upon me, so I feel almost obligated in a sense to help him. It's very confusing, and it tore me apart, but I don't know, I'm still kind of processing everything that happened.
Bring you any kind of closure?
If anything, it opened things up more. Old wounds are back, and I have more questions than ever. I guess I got some closure. He told me the dying words of my parents, but even that left me with more questions than answers, so I don't know, it was an experience.
Well, you're brave. I wouldn't want to know the dying words of my parents. That's just, I can't imagine.
I feel like I almost owed it to them for them to keep living within me, you know, to know as much, every aspect of them that I could, even if it meant knowing the last words they ever spoke.
You were so young, but at least now you have Fang, and he's a good companion, and you have us now. I know I'm still getting to know you, but I appreciate you opening up. Like, I know that wasn't easy.
I feel like I can trust you, Nariana, like you're a confidant. We don't speak much, but when we do, it feels nice to talk to you about things. I feel like I can actually open up, not feel judged or need to feel fear.
Well, that's
So
the
thank
whole
you.
point. I try to be that comfort, that confidant, like, because I would want the same myself. So, and who am I to judge? Like, I'm young and still experiencing the world. Like, I can't comprehend everybody else, but I can be there and sympathize and let you get a weight off your chest.
Well, I thank you for that and for asking and listening.
If you ever want to talk, just let me know.
Thank you. And then Claw will just kind of like turn away like a little bit and start looking, like start monitoring the other side.
Bonding moment over. Now to awkwardness.
That's Claw. Ba-da-ba-da-ba.
Ba-da-da-da-da.
Okay. Claw,
Yes.
you could reload your page for me.
Fun thing.
The giggle. Little gremlin laugh. Things and stuff and gimme.
Should be pretty obvious.
Yeah.
I swear to God, if Claw starts getting possessed, we're putting her down, guys.
Everyone's just
God has
like
a limit.
we find a bomb, we just set it off between all of us. No more possession.
We are clearly the
Join
problem here.
Join the club.
You're more than, if you would like to share what it is, you can. You don't have to.
So the dragon's heartstrings longsword that I got, it's decorated with dragon heads, claws, wings, and scales and draconic lettering. Like, it's very, I imagine it to be very like flowing, kind of like a dragon's body, but still very kind of like jagged. When it steeps in a dragon sword, it absorbs the energy of the dragon's breath weapon and deals damage of that type.
But for
Whatever
this
you rolled.
one, it will be whatever Fang is in.
Oh, okay, cool. Even better. So I don't have to stick it into
No.
a board for it? Oh, okay.
You guys take
So
it in my
then it's
mouth.
like-
Wait, you get into a whore?
Ford.
I thought I heard that too. Okay.
I put my sword in the what?
Oh God!
I mean, someone's got to. I mean, what?
So it has both of those abilities, but it's
Okay, awesome.
contingent on whatever Fang is in.
Cool. Alright, so. Dang. Yeah, so I imagine that, like, if he's, like, white, then it's kind of, like, also gets, like, a sort of, like, shimmering iridescent. It turns kind of, like, I imagine that it kind of, like, also changes colors as
Yep.
he does.
So right now
And-
it is a white blade.
Cool. And, like, the dragon's head is, like, a white dragon's head, and the wings are just, like,
Mhm.
"Wah."
They're just like,
Cool.
Okay. There is
Awesome.
first watch, second watch.
that's me.
Hey. Hey, Dragony.
Hey, Punchy. You still work on it.
Does
Come
that
on.
work? And I know. Grapply.
17.
M-
Perception.
meditation-y.
23.
Okay.
Keep working on it, bud.
Perception.
Yeah.
16.
Okay. You guys look out. It is dead calm out there. There's no wind. There's, I mean, it is, like I said before, it is very well, temperatured inside. If you guys were to walk out, you would feel that it's still very humid, hot, and muggy. You guys would also notice the horses every so often would just be like, bloop, bloop.
Oh, hey.
You guys, it's a pretty peaceful, no nonsense kind of a shift. Is there anything you'd like to discuss?
So, how you doing?
Come here often.
We really need to work on your small talk.
I know. You
You're human for 10 minutes and
doing
you think
right?
well,
You doing all right with all this?
I mean, as right as it can be. I mean, I'm antsy, but that ain't nothing new. I don't
You
like
wanna-
this sliver.
You want to get some, let some steam off, or?
Nah, that makes a lot of noise, and if we're trying to be stealthy and observant, probably not the best idea.
Yeah. I just thought that, since we were, like, out of prying eye for now.
Nah, I appreciate it, but I think, Dragonheart will do a John impression, but like, do not want to draw attention to ourselves.
Yes. Just look at the sleeping form of John and just snigger a little. For what it's
Gosh, he
worth,
even
I
sleeps
do.
proper. Look at
I was
that
gonna say
form.
John
I
does
know.
not. John does not sleep proper. He's like, he's like
Just
a
the
hot
biggest,
mess.
just.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only improper thing about him. For what it's worth, though, I do admire your, restraint, and I'm trying to emulate that as well.
Well, it's either that or go to jail, right? We saw how that
Right.
worked for Typhoon.
That's well, is that very different with how your sliver is?
I mean, for the most part, you just fight, and if you lose it, I mean, there are some banishings where you're not allowed back in the city.
Some people go to jail, but that's only if they're fighting people who can't fight back.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's lawless, though.
The cities have laws. That's usually up for who runs it, and that's, again, usually kind of that survival of the fittest mentality. Some are more fair than others, but very much the law of the land is he who is strongest is rulerist.
I'm just picturing like a Mad Max kind of vibe.
It is.
For the ones that would have the most rules would be Vartai, and Brookfield. The ones that are on the outskirts, on the edge of the desert inside of the sliver. So the one closest to, or semi-close to Anel, and the one at the complete other end of the desert. The other ones, no, not even close. Geldshire kind of has more rules, but that's because they're the mountain fortress. So it's a little different, but it's not rules like Certitional. So there's a variety.
But there is a lot of the sense of, like, keep what you kill.
So I guess you kind of had to grow up a bit early and learn like to defend yourself early on.
Well, defending myself, yes, but I am not lost on the fact that I am very privileged. I mean, there are plenty of people who show up and they have to fight to survive. I was born into a very specific family that was fairly well off due to my father's success in that sense. But
Is that kind of how you like got that that sense of morality, seeing like the disparity around you?
Oh, I think a lot of it has to do with Dad has never let me forget where he came from. You know, Dad does have a very good sense of morality, I would say. Which is why I think he's always tried to be fair, both as a leader and a booker and as a dad. But
So he kind of came from the streets.
I mean, you gotta start somewhere, and Dad's been very successful in his attempts. I mean, you've seen the size of him.
Yeah,
you could say that he had a head start with genetics, but
the
but
bigger you are,
the harder you hit sometimes, and
Yeah.
you know, if your opponent can't reach your
More
face, sometimes
advantage.
it works. It's like, I'm gonna throw you. Oh wait, you outweigh me by a lot. Maybe I won't throw you.
What about your mom?
Uh,
How was like, was she also like born into that, or?
Mom was more diplomatic. I mean, she was definitely more educated than Dad. But she won more with charms, and by charms I mean like actual like charisma, not necessarily charms as in spells, because you know Dryota.
Yeah.
So Mom won with her wits, Dad won with his might, which I think is what balances them out very well. Whereas if Dad gets ready to go rage mode and go full dragon, Mom was there to kind of bring him back to reality and remind him where he came from, and that's where my stepmom, I think, works well. Like, I think he always needs that, and when Mom died, again, I think he just needs that in his life. I'm very fortunate that I had both her and him, where it's very much fight for, the strongest survive, but Mom was very much trying to teach level-headedness, and hence a lot of the meditation and the focus. And I am not the size of my father, and that always plays a role. And Dad's never held that against me. It was never like, why couldn't my boy be a giant? It was always he had faith in who I could be with both of them. So with their tag team work, I was going to end up all right. But neither one of them kind of let me forget what the sliver was like. It's not easy, but there are plenty of those who struggle, and with both of them being so focused on trying to help, you can never forget about that.
Yeah, I mean, I only met them briefly, but I could definitely see both of their influences in you.
Well, you grow up with somebody, you're going to act like him a little bit, I guess.
Right.
Nah, it's a bit of a shock to go from Dryota to like everywhere else. I mean, like, you leave your home for the first time, and things are pretty nice at home, again, because I've been very fortunate. But when we went to Rin's house, that's a bit of a shock.
Oh yeah.
Things are a lot cleaner. I get sand everywhere back home.
I remember, like, back, here on this sliver, everybody's constantly working, and so you tend to build up all that, that grease and stuff, and then going to Rin's, I remember it just being a very much of a shock of like, maybe you don't come to the dining hall with your hands and face just covered in grease. So
look, it's either grease or sand, all right? Every time you have a
Sand.
sandwich, it's mostly sand, all right?
Aw.
Greasy sand.
Don't you? Do it.
Very irritable, right?
But besides all that, can I ask you, like, just between you and me?
No.
No, okay.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, in the last. Just kidding.
What are your thoughts on John? Like, he said that there was something that he needed to tell me. Do you know what that is?
I know pieces of it, yes. And this is what I'll say. When it comes time for when you're ready to hear it, that is up to you. How you want to handle it is also up to you. But you trust me. You know I have your back, right?
Yeah, I trust you. I got
So-
your back. You got mine.
Even if you say that it's not that you don't trust John, trust me. When it comes time to when you feel you are ready to hear whatever that is, we are here for you for whatever that is. However you want to handle it, that is up to you.
Is it anything bad? I mean,
anything can be bad depending on how we handle it and what it is.
yes, I know, but the
Information to the right people could always be bad.
putting all that philosophy aside, what do you think?
I think it is concerning with potential to become bigger problems. But nothing immediate. And may just be hard to hear.
Okay.
At bare minimum, it's complicated. And much like
Everything's
anything
complicated.
it is. I miss the days of just showing up for a fight and getting paid. But everything in this world gets more complicated the longer we're out. So if you can understand that things are more complicated than they at first appear, then you're willing to listen and trust that John is doing the best he can for all of us, we as a family can handle it.
Yeah.
And like I said, if you need someone to put that trust and faith in until that day comes, put that trust in me.
I mean, whether consciously or unconsciously, throughout this whole thing, I have put my faith into you. Like I said before, there are times where things get a little heated, but for the most part, I do see you as that mentor figure and as
Oh God, don't put that.
someone
Don't put that
and
on
as
me.
someone who can as someone whose judgment I can trust.
Well, as long as if you're going to say that I am a mentor figure, that mentor mentality of we always have plenty to learn and we are not always right continue to be a tool in your bag that we always can rely on. We will not always be right. We will not always fully understand, and we will make mistakes. But how we recover from them and how we handle that with the people that we surround ourselves with. And I truly mean that. Trust is such a difficult thing, and I know it is. But if you need that symbol to rely that trust on, always remember, you have seen my face. You know my name. The only people in the world that know that, truly, is my family. So if you need something to fall back on, always remember that trust is symbolized with this knowledge. And I trust you with it.
I will. Thank you for trusting me with that. It's from what you've said, it is a big deal and definitely an honor.
All right, let's not go too far now.
Okay.
Look, I'm channeling too much of my mom right now, mixed with my dad's promos. I'm going in full character mode.
Full character.
You can tell that he's trying to he's drifting into his dad's and mom's teaching of like the philosophical and his dad's performance as he's done a lot of this, but there's still the kid that he is. He's like 22. He is a kid learning the world. He's just like, okay, goofball behind a mask who is a nerd about dragons. So as you drop things like mentor, he's like, oh, there's the trigger words for dad. Like, oh yes, build upon that, and then it's like trust your mother. Chicken is like, okay, but I'm just a dork. All right, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
One last thing though.
Yes.
Like I said before, I can't guarantee that my response to all this will be positive. Will be all positive. But
I suspect as much.
but for the sake of what I have here, what I have with everybody, I will choose to be as rational as I can and make the right decisions.
Like I said,
With all that.
it's how we recover, even if it is. Let's say you act irrationally. As long as we recover as a family and move forward, that's what will be remembered. Not a mistake, but how we learn from it and move forward.
I mean, I feel like I've acted irrationally a lot. of
Yeah,
times.
what? No, what?
Yeah,
What'd you do? Like
man,
jump off a
what?
building on a dude flying away in a glider or something? No, you
I
didn't do
did
anything
send
like that.
everybody into like a whole side thing with like a whole ass gang taking my dad's tools that he gave me and all that.
Oh,
and,
well, that
like-
okay. Hold on, that was to turn off a murder button. That's pretty important.
No, with the tools that the gang.
Oh, that
stole.
thing, sorry.
Yeah.
The first time. Well,
The first.
that was a fight ring. That was a good time. The Knoll was born. I can't be mad at the
Knoll.
Knoll being born.
The anarchist.
The anarchist, the wild animal, the man that will strike fear into the hearts of his enemies, the teeth of his victims strewn around his
The
neck.
bane of John.
God, if anybody does a search of your stuff, I'm gonna be like, what the fuck?
Why is there a teeth
Yeah,
necklace?
why is there teeth necklace?
Granted, the only teeth on that necklace are a bunch of topaz teeth.
You are correct. Still.
Still, the horror is like, why do you have teeth made of topaz? Don't ask questions you don't want to know.
Okay. You guys go to sleep. Our final. Just like that. That's exactly how you go to sleep.
No, it's just the windows turning off sound. Boo-doo-doo-doo.
Oof. Typhoon and John.
Good morning.
11.
Oof.
Perfect.
Wait, hold on. What's my plus?
Perfect time for
16.
crime.
Oh, dirty 20.
All right, with the dirty 20.
Still the perfect time for crime.
That'd be hilarious, but no. So, you guys do once to do a perimeter check. We'll go out through. John being inside of the hut, there's a lot of, disconnect from, the weave that you, the web. Oof. Freudian's up there. The weave
The
that you were
weave.
feeling. The web, the weave.
Kiss,
Oof, man. Inside of there is a kind of like that barrier, literally, but as you go out you still kind of get that elemental connection still present. It is still quite hot. It has not changed its temperature, so nothing seems to disturb or spook the horses. Every so often they're trading on which one to like sleep for a little bit, and you'll just see like Frankie's head pop in and then go out, and then like an hour or two later Peanut's head will pop in, make sure you guys are still there, and then go back in. They're kind of doing their own watch. So you guys have the rest of the evening into morning.
So how you feeling, John?
Actually, I was going to ask you the same, considering recent events.
I feel better now. Like, cause I was talking to Reese about it too, and we were just kind of, I guess, a level of understanding of those moments where we black out, but are almost taking over. But I don't know, talking it out kind of makes me feel better. Like that void doesn't feel so empty anymore. But it still feels really weird. You know what I mean?
I suppose.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you've ever been taken over by anything. I don't know. Well, you dealt with spirits. Did they ever take over you?
Well, yes, I told you I've been possessed before.
Oh, wait, yeah, that's what. Oh, yeah, because we were talking. Just kidding. Yeah, I remember. But yeah. So you understand that it's not fun being taken over, but I guess it's kind of worse being taken over and seeing what your body's doing versus the ignorance of not seeing it. I feel like your situations. I'm so sorry that you went through that.
It's fine. I'm not currently dealing with that.
Is that possible to happen again, or like you're good?
I mean, I would say it's always possible, considering.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
I'd also say that I have no real reason to try to stop it at the time being, but that's partially because we are dealing with far more prevalent issues at the moment, and also because I don't necessarily want to disrupt my connection to the spirits.
That must be really interesting. Like, do you like it, or is this like something that happened that you're just used to doing now?
I think I'm more used to dealing with it, although it does have its benefits. For example, it certainly benefited you all when Rin came to me, because as you all arrived in the city, and there were questions being asked about, what exactly you all had done, getting that bit of information from a spirit that I generally had no reason not to believe, certainly was helpful in deciding whether or not to actually help you all.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, hearing that her spirit is, well, one well and also with you and kind of with us is almost kind of like puts my mind at peace a little bit. Like, yeah, it's really painful and sad that she's gone, and it sucks a lot, but she seems to be, I guess, I don't want to say living it up, but happy as much as she can be in this situation, at least based on your like interactions and facial expressions with her.
I mean, she's an interesting, they're a very interesting person, just in general. But
She always has been.
they're, I don't know about happy. It's always an odd situation when dealing with the dead. Some just become resigned, I think.
I guess happy in the sense of what other options could have happened.
Possibly. Some.
Like, at least their souls with you, rather in some void. I don't know much about spiritual planes or anything.
John will take some time to kind of like explain like the possibilities of where souls go.
You
after
doodle
death.
out the dimensional circle
Yeah.
in the dirt. You just kind of like take a stick and like. So we're here on this plane, and then over,
like that.
and then some souls can go to this, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, now I get it. I see. So, I mean, like, this is still a pretty good, like, in the negative alternatives.
Well, sure, in the negative alternative, although I have to quite once again wonder why the soul of what I believe to be quite an innocent child is here at all. Hence the question, but
I mean, fair. I'll be honest with you. With everything, like, pertaining to Ren, I feel like there's a lot more. Well, I'm sure you already assumed this, but a lot more behind it than any of us know. Like, even with her father, and then with everything that happened back at your town, like, there's obviously so much more going in the background. Just kind of, I don't know, just makes it uneasy a little bit.
well, I'm sure that some of those answers will unfold with time. How outside of the recent possession, how are you handling the situation with your sister?
Well, one, I've calmed down a lot more since then, but it still aggravates me that people of power so easily will take advantage of a child. You know what I mean? And then even in your town, I forgot the lady's name, Lady Tybalt, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Even like as we were leaving, it seems like they were trying to take control of her. I mean, granted, she seems like a very good person. Like she was trying to fight back. There's only so much she could do by herself, and I don't know. It was something also like as a pirate you notice too, like kind of how corrupt certain people can be of power, and I don't want to be that guy that's like, oh, power bad, all people, government bad, you know? Like I'm sure there are good people like Lady Tybalt, but still, I can't help but give in to rage at times when I think of the Merchant Guild and what they did to my sister.
Well,
I don't want to control myself.
I think it's prevalent that maybe I also, and that this is not to defend the guild at all, but I think it's also prevalent to bring up the possibility that your sister may not be anything like you remember. And it's very likely that what she's been incarcerated for could be because she's done something.
He will, or Ty will sigh a little bit, like that would kind of piss him off a little, but he's also like, he understands that point of view. But there's kind of a deep sigh. It's like, I get where you're coming from. It's just, I mean, she's my baby sister, or not my baby sister, she's my older sister, really. I don't know.
I know you don't.
It just sucks.
I truly, I mean no offense. I know that you want to
Yeah.
think and believe the best of the people that you care about in your life, but the separation of time, the circumstances in which the disappearance occurred, it's could possible that something changed her life, something changed her perspective, something changed chemically, some supernatural force took a hold. There's thousands of possibilities. I mean, the last time you've seen her has been years, right?
Yeah, and which honestly, I that's why I don't blame you for your statement at all. I get it because look how far I've changed. I don't even look the same, and I mean, as a pirate, generally we did most like we weren't terrible pirates, but you know we've done some things as well in the past. So I've changed a lot as well. So it's only natural that she would change too. But I just hope for the best, you know.
Well, and I think that that's good. It's always good to keep hope alive. But I think it also is fair to try and prepare for the worst.
Yeah, I guess it's good to have it in the back of the mind at the very least.
For this situation, I also hope that fear does not come to pass.
I do appreciate all you've done, and even just sharing your knowledge with us and helping us through everything with Teresa. And no, it's probably not easy joining a random group of misfits and people like. I mean, as chaotic as us, let's be honest, but you know, I appreciate it, and also trying to keep us out of trouble, even though we put ourselves in trouble.
Well, it certainly has not been a picnic. But that being said, I don't think any of you are evil people or people that mean to cause harm.
Yeah, everyone here means well, as far as I can tell.
As far as I can tell, I also agree with that. Now, whether or not meaning well means following the law is a different story, but I try to take intention
that's
as a
fair.
part of things.
Yeah, like when we first came on the Slither, we were trying to help, but it kind of make things a little bit not necessarily worse, but not good either.
It's all right. It happens, and we're here and we're fine, and so far things have worked out, and that's should be grateful for that, really.
Yeah, I will try to contain myself as much as possible. I try to stay out of the way, but I didn't really know anything about that the curse blade. That was. Besides that, I will try to stay out of the way or out of like you know
Can
terrible
I-
situations.
I'm I do have a bit of a professional curiosity. What exactly was it that you did in your time as a pirate?
I mean, and also, Dean, correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of time when we were pirates, there's always the basics of, doing whatever we want, but pillaging certain ships. Not every ship, but certain ships. And I think, and there were specific types of people we pillaged, right?
Oh yeah, no, you took from wealthier trade ships. You didn't really go after. There was no sport in, as your captain used to say, there was no sport in hunting a captured fish already. So you didn't go after ships that obviously could not defend themselves. Now, sometimes if you really needed supplies, though, you wouldn't go and raid the ship. You would kind of persuade them to give you things. And then you did, make port every so often. And while there, depending on where you were, you might have a few times sunk. They sunk some ships in the harbor.
I will then be like, all right,
Hey,
don't.
Thank you for the sub.
Don't judge me too harshly, but
Do it.
in my past, and then I will insert all that you just said. Like, we did a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but
So usual pirate breaking
Yeah.
laws.
Pirate shit.
yeah, but yeah.
I had initially told myself that I didn't want to know. That way, in the event of capture or being detained, I could simply plead ignorance. But I think it's probably better that I do know in the end. And I'm not... Well, I'm not going to say that I'm not judging you for it, because I think that would be a lie, but I certainly understand that is a thing that you did in your past, and that is a person that you were at one point in time, but you're not currently doing it now.
No, I haven't pillaged or anything like that in years. I came on land and basically tried new jobs and whatnot and branched out, though don't get me wrong, my captain and crew are all still a part of me in terms of a family because they saved and raised me. So I still wish them, no ill will, but I do not go around pirating or anything like that. More so, I guess, just doing whatever odd job I can find.
Well, the sea is not my jurisdiction, so we don't have any issues as far as that goes.
Like, you can't arrest me anyways. You're not on your sliver.
Exactly. So, now that I know, just means that I can't plead ignorance, but maybe I could help you work to continue on a different path.
Yeah, honestly, I would appreciate it. I would like to do things the right way that isn't necessarily breaking laws all the time. Granted, I'm also realizing that some laws prohibit you from doing the right things at certain times, so it's kind of situational.
What is the law and what is morally right are not always the same.
Yeah. So I guess it's kind of figuring out when is the right time to do certain things. I don't know.
That's a hard moral question to answer.
Exactly. And like legally too, it's an issue. I mean, obviously with my past, I don't have a problem fighting back or, handling a negative situation. That's how I'm gonna word it. But legally, I'll probably get in trouble depending on where I'm at.
Well, I suppose that's when you determine what's the risk and what's the reward.
Or if I'll get caught. I will somewhat jokingly say.
or if you get caught. But
Like, what if I like wear a mask anytime I do like hero stuff?
you know, as he like looks at Dragonheart, you know the thing
Who's
about
also sleeping, just like.
yeah. Wow, he sleeps just as barbarically as I do. I mean, anyway,
Isn't that painful?
you know, it's you get so tired you don't even notice.
That can't.
The thing about wearing a mask and such is that it kind of becomes a part of your MO. You become recognizable in that sense. Like, yeah,
Well,
and
I mean, only wear a
anyone
mask
can.
when I'm going to do something. I guess the word would be vigilante-esque.
Sure, but then that's how we connect all of your vigilante-esque actions together. Was it someone in XYZ mask? Yes. Alright then. Well then, when you do eventually get caught, hey, guess what? We can pin you for that one as well.
Well, what if they never find out it's me?
What if?
Like, what if it's a whole costume?
If only the world was made out of what if?
You know,
A
that's
different mask, every crime.
That's also that was, you know, he's talking in his sleep, but that's a good point.
He's talking in his sleep.
He's just like saying
Oh, yeah.
different like gimmicks in the sleep. Oh no,
Batman.
the beholder,
Oh my god.
the werebear. That's a good one.
I don't know. I just feel like I want to do good sometimes, but it's just like if someone's like about to die, but we're not allowed to like help in a sense, like, do you really not help and then they die, or do you help and then they die, or they don't die, but like now you're arrested for helping and potentially murder if they somewhat die, or somehow die, not somewhat.
I suppose I should put it to you in this terms. I do my best to follow the letter of the law. However, I do have my own moral values. And while I don't always agree with the law, it's best to try to work within it. Why? Because the best way to get around the law is to work within the law.
Are you saying I should work for the law?
I just mean that sometimes
like
the
vegan.
law loans itself to its own sort of loopholes. Now, of course, this doesn't immediately resolve, you know, emergency situations, but if that's the case, like, for example, let's say, alright, let's take a child steals a loaf of bread, and the law for stealing bread, the punishment is death, right? Immediate death. That's not a law that I would get behind.
Okay, fair enough.
And as a matter of fact, I don't imagine that with my personal beliefs that I would work necessarily for a place that had a law as such.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't like that.
On the other hand, if a child steals bread and they're caught and the punishment was 1 night in jail to try to scare them from doing it again, I can understand that. It's much more reasonable than an immediate execution.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys wake up. Like everyone gets their long rest. Yay!
Yes.
I play with my chipmunk in the meantime too.
Yeah, Bob pops out. He pops out and just takes some food. Looks at Constantine, kind of like, gross. Constantine looks.
Nobody same here.
Constantine is still a bug, right?
So
As far as I remember.
Constantine is still a bug, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Centipede.
Now I was just thinking to myself that it would be funny at some point to turn Constantine into a tick and then put him on the chipmunk, and then like they can like tag team duo their own thing at some point. But
Say Holly could also ride the chipmunk, probably.
right, the chipmunk. Yes, yeah.
Ride the chipmunk
And
into battle.
they're all hanging on to Fang.
And the chipmunk can
They're all just riding one another.
There's a bump on the log in the hole in the.
As Fang's on a cart being pulled by the horses.
Yeah.
oh my god, we need to
Tick on the pixie, on the centipede, on the chipmunk, on the
I have a
on the
question.
drake.
Mm-hmm.
As a cleric, I can swap out my spells once a day, correct?
Yeah, every long rest.
Okay, I'm gonna do that.
Every time you get to hit that long rest button, you can swap your everything but cantrips.
I'm gonna do that too.
Yeah, no.
Me
I
3.
do it too.
2 of you can do. Well, technically 3 of you can do that now.
I can't.
Yeah, I already did it.
I have spells too. I'm gonna do it
No.
right now.
Yeah, you have Genasi spells.
I'm gonna change punch for punch. Got it.
Got it.
Well, we're going up a mountain, so I'm grabbing Earthbind.
Art.
Yeah, somebody falls off. Just nope.
I cast cloak.
You guys get everything taken care of in the morning. You guys eat your breakfast. The horses are still fine. You guys, begin to hitch them up to your, I almost say cabin. That's not the right word. A carriage.
The cab.
To our cabin.
Your cabin. I was
Such
thinking
a
Or
cabin.
RV.
We've just got like a log cabin being pulled on a car.
That's why the horses
Man,
are
really
so mad
inconspicuous.
at us.
Well, guys, we need to lay low, but I can't go anywhere without my cabin. So, you guys begin to go around the plateau part that you go, and as you come around and begin to get back onto the main road, who's driving?
I guess I
I
will.
guess I could drive again.
I'm bad at this, so.
So between Ariana and Dragonheart, who's driving?
I mean, I can. That's fine.
Okay.
Dragonheart on the sticks. Go
This-
Pinky, go
This time
Peanut.
it's John in the back making the quips.
Give me you two in the front. Give me perception checks.
Perception.
For grace.
24.
26.
Damn, guys.
Dang.
Yeah, I got a +6. I'll accept it.
30.
So you guys are like coming off this like rockier area. It's taking a little bit of time. Horses come down. The cart is almost onto like the flatter part of the path. With both of those very high rolls.
We're built different.
You guys see them as they come, through, like behind some rocks. These serpent-like fire beings with very reptilian faces come up, and they're each holding a different weapon as they like slide out. They kind of come not in a full pincer because they're one's coming from up, one's coming from down, one's coming from straight across. So behind you is the way back to the cave, which had no exit, and then they are in front of you. They are just beginning. With that sight, you guys have a pretty good line of sight on them from finding. You guys kind of like, each in your own way, feel a definite, temperature shift as these, flame beings get closer. Nariana, yours is definitely more of a physical connection. Dragonheart, yours is like you feel the flame, and you kind of like kick up a bit, and you're like, oh, that's something's nearby. And these three large, salamanders approach. And that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
Fire!
Fire!
Last time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yay, combat!
Combat!
Combate.
Combate.
Wait. I'm gonna try to talk to them some bitches. What are you talking about combat for?
Yay, potentially social combat!
Yay, combat!
Like, oh, combat. I'm like,
Combat's
but
pack
maybe
combat.
don't seem
A win's a
angry
win.
right now, I don't
Diplomacy.
know.
Maybe we can seduce them.
Oh, yes, please try and
have a bard.
seduce.
I mean, they're hot.
Listen, you're made of water. They're made of fire. You'll
Things
have
could get
gorgeous little
steamy.
dragony
I'm
steam
just,
Oh my
baby
God.
I'm trying to
babies.
create some steam,
I mean, there is that new Disney movie.
Boil my water. I mean, what?
I need an adult.
We are the adults.
Technically,
Yeah,
everyone but
you're
Claw's the
adults.
I was
adult.
gonna say that.
I need an
adult,
adult.
you're adult.
Claw's adult for her species.
Fair enough.
Yeah, but yeah.
I'm gonna start hitting buttons.
We play D&D.
Hey!
This video will go up on YouTube on Monday. Hopefully, we'll see if I can keep my shit together. And we'll play again
No
next
face.
week.
Yeah.
But if you like next week, but if you like our faces, by ours I mean size in particular, and then some of the VTuber friends over here, you can catch them on Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time back here for DC by Night, Monument of Shadows, Vampire the Masquerade.
Masquerade. Also, we'll be having a
Great
guest player
Masquerade.
on this Sunday, so
Woohoo, guest player.
check that out.
Are we allowed to say or no?
we allowed to say what?
Who are the guest players?
Who it is?
Sure. Yeah, the guest player will be Zeus from Cajun Knight's Discord server.
And
He's a
Mount Olympus.
storyteller and mod over there, and he is going to be joining us.
Is that the
He's
same?
yeah.
Is that the same Zeus from God of War? Because if so, I gotta meet him.
You know, funny
you-
story about that.
Do you
Really
really wanna
funny
meet-
story about that. We'll have to talk.
You really want to meet that version of Zeus?
Oh, so I can kill him and be
Oh,
Kratos.
okay, that's fair. That's
I
fair.
would be
He's
Kratos.
not gonna kill us, right? Yeah.
Anything else from you at the peanut gallery?
We're fine.
Everything's fine.
Everything's
Everything's
fine.
great.
Nothing
It's
bad's
great.
happening.
I'm insane in the membrane.
Inside in the membrane. Okay, with all that being said, we hope you guys had an enjoyable night. We can't wait to come back next week for more chaos and shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
So,
Again.
until next time, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm a loser.